number 6, I think this is now.
Number 6. Yeah, we're doing well.
We are doing well.
We're doing really well. And we've had a break.
We have had a break.
We celebrated Christmas in the only Tier 4 way you could.
Yep.
And we survived 2020, so we didn't catch COVID.
No.
So now we're into 2021. Happy New Year. I'm sure many of you would be bored and fed up by now, being in certain tiers.
Certain lockdown procedures.
Yes.
Not necessarily tier systems, but...
It's not working out for us because we had plans.
Yeah.
And now our plans are backtracked.
They're kind of halted for the moment.
They're thinking about Tier 5.
I know that. I think about Tier 5.
Why would you put us in a Tier 5 if we're already stuck in a Tier 4?
Well, they just want more tier systems to make them. You've got to get to Tier 10 before we get the gold star.
Tier 4 kind of sounds like you've achieved something. Whereas all the other tiers are kind of like, Tier 1, great.
Tier 1, you can do a little bit more than, you can do a little bit less. You can do a little bit less than you would normally do in your everyday life.
But when you're in Tier 4, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And therefore most of our plans have actually been halted for the time being.
We can't travel anywhere and places that we
We
want
can't
to
do
go to.
anything. We can barely breathe.
Yeah, very true. That'd be Tier 6.
What, you can't breathe? That'd be absolutely pointless.
It would be.
Can't breathe.
Pointless. So obviously, if you haven't done before, obviously if you are interested in the channel, then please like and subscribe, and hit that lovely notification bell.
To watch your premieres almost every Thursday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially the podcast anyway. Like if you're interested in expensive cardboard, tune in on Wednesday, but if not, go to Thursday.
Yeah.
Most people go to Thursday.
Most people will go to Thursday.
They've understood that it's expensive cardboard and it's pretty much a win or loss. And most of the time I lose. So we've kind of got to that point now.
We have, but then we've been experimenting more with like Yu-Gi-Oh decks and stuff. So
We have. I've got another deck.
Oh.
That's for later.
Oh.
Just think invoked, but worse.
Oh god.
Same lines.
Nice. So yeah, if you want to check out the expensive cardboard and the inevitability of either us losing, depending on what deck each other plays.
It's pretty much every time I lose, like more or less.
But obviously, yeah, going back to
I can't win.
at the moment.
Yeah. So our topics this evening,
Yeah.
or during the day, afternoon, evening, night time, when you're laying in
Whenever
bed,
you
bored,
yeah.
whenever you're actually watching.
Whenever you're
this,
tuning in.
I guess.
So yeah,
Go on, sir. Take the floor is yours. Go ahead.
The first topic today, we may go off in our tangents, but
It's worth it.
it is worth it.
It's worth it to get two different perspectives on people that have had like an impact in society, and also they kind of pave the way for more extreme serial killers. So yeah, our topic is pretty much
it's
serial killers.
Serial killers.
And he has his little mindsets of who he finds fascinating, whereas I've gone for the more, I don't know. What are you, a cat? But yeah, we've kind of gone, he's gone for 2, I've gone for 2, but I think our fascination kind of lies with that person. It's kind of like whether we think, holy shit, that is sadistic, or it's gone on the lines of, what the fuck?
Yeah, like how has he managed to do this?
How do you even get around it? Like how? But I would like to add into this whole subject matter, right? If there was no laws in this world, these people would be normal.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they are classed as a murderer / serial killer / cult / extremist, that they have been locked up. But if the world never had laws, like we would be perfectly fine killing everyone, so it's fine. Imagine all them people you guys want to kill. You know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it on camera. I'll do a live feed. Make you squeal like a...
I'll edit over it, it's fine.
Make you squeal like a little piggy. Yeah.
I love pork.
Would you... This is nothing. Say someone's killing you,
Yeah.
and they said, right, we're going to cook you up, and you're like, say they cut your arm off, and they start cooking your arm, and then they say if you like they say like you either eat yourself or I'm just going to kill you. would you then think, could I survive with one arm and eat myself?
Oh yeah. I'd be like, okay, but only if
You try me first, motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't trust your cooking. But no, I would say, like, obviously, if I eat my arm,
Yeah.
am I free to go?
Well, yeah, that would be the case.
Yeah.
So you would actually eat
So I
yourself?
would eat my arm. I would happily eat my arm. I would pick that bad boy up.
It'd just be like a little bit of bone afterwards, wouldn't it? See, personally, I if someone offered me that choice of eat your arm and you're free to go, or I'm just going to kill you, I'd rather go with the killing.
You're like, I don't like red meat.
No, but there's the other thought process of I don't think I would like society very much if I had one arm. And I don't. It depends what arm. I like this arm.
Yeah.
They can have this one. But I like this one.
Do a lot of stuff with that one.
Yeah, this one. This one. This one. No, but I don't think I could go then into society and go like armless, walk around and be like, oh yeah, like you'd be famous for surviving that killing. So then all eyes are already on you, and then you're armless, walking around every day just using your one arm. I know there's people out there that obviously have one arm, but I'm just saying, me personally, I don't think I could live with that type of disability.
Well,
And I don't think I would taste good. Like, do tattoos have an effect on what the skin tastes like? Is he cooking me over a barbecue, or is he putting me in the oven? Is he putting me is he putting me in the microwave? Like, are you warming up my arm in some water? Like, are you gonna freeze it? Then defrost it over the next couple of days? We can have some stuffing and some roast potatoes next to it. I would seriously have to think about
there goes my roast.
No, but I'd seriously have to think, like, how are you cooking it, for one? Do I get a knife or a fork, or are you going to help me eat it because I've only got one arm? I'm pretty sure parts of me's got to be quite gristly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that cross your mind? You'd be like, no, I'm fucking into it and just use your one arm and nibble around.
Well, I think I'm that minority that will value my own life rather than just an extremity, but
if he cooks it and seasons it, I could be tempted.
Comment down below, would you eat part of your anatomy, or would you say, no, just kill me, I can't do it?
Mentally, I don't think I could. I mean, I could eat it, but it's going back into society with one arm.
Yeah.
And knowing I've got to live my life, knowing I've got some on my arm, and I've lost an arm. I could be a cyborg. Robotic one.
I didn't think of that.
See?
But still, I would still eat my arm just so that I can get that robotic arm. We have the technology.
Your little hands going. Look, you're well into it now.
Might chop me over.
Going for dinner. There you go. Live feed. I chop your arm off. I chop your arm off. You tell me whether you want to eat it or not. And
well,
I'll tell you
how you're going to cook it.
Yes, there you go. I'll put some seasoning on it, do some other, make it look pretty, you'll be fine. I can stick the finger up like that as you're about to eat it. Then I'm going to be really sadistic like some of these killers and be like, suck your finger first before you eat it.
Do it.
You'll be like,
this is for the comments.
Live feed, they want you to poke yourself in the eye with your own hand. Well, that took a drastic turn, didn't it? Serial killers, now we've gone on to cutting your own arm off and everything for dinner. Why not?
Well, there we go. We said we was going to tangent
Okay.
points.
Right, so your first serial killer, who is widely known
In the 70s, yeah. In
1970s in the United States of America. And his name is...
Yeah. Well, his most famous name is Ted Bundy.
But is that actually his real name?
His real name is Theodore Robert Bundy.
I'd go with Ted Bundy. If you're a Theodore, you sound too posh, don't you?
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
Oh, Theodore!
But then, you know, someone comes up to you and goes, my name's Teddy. And you're like, oh god.
Yeah, but back then that could be seen as attractive. Oh, who's your boyfriend? Oh, it's Teddy.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, okay.
Like, it was, it's basically...
You've got to say it's a popular name now, aren't you?
It wasn't a popular name, but I would
Theodore
say
was.
Edward was.
Yeah. But Theodore does sound like you are a really intelligent man.
And he does use it. He does use it for his own thing. He was a very handsome and charismatic man.
Who you would probably never suspect as a serial killer.
No, but he did have a weird obsession with the human psychology.
Like most serial killers do, they have a way of figuring out someone's mind.
Yeah, like he actually majored in psychology as an undergraduate in 1972.
Okay. See, these serial killers are too smart.
They are. That's the thing.
They're too smart, and that's why they get fucking caught.
They get. I would say. I would assume that they would. They're too smart for their own good. Then they start relaxing, and that's when they get caught. They think, I'm too
So
smart.
basically,
I've beaten them for so long.
So basically, they've got to live their lives being a fucking brainiac, and then just wait till you die.
Yeah.
But back then, obviously, they didn't have the technology we've got now.
No, they didn't have.
There were certain key aspects of the investigation that I can only imagine that they couldn't do back then, which they can do now. So most of these serial killers picked a really good time to start
doing it, basically.
And that's why I probably don't hear much in terms of serial killers anymore.
No.
Because there's so many
so
people, so many eyes on you.
There's so many things now as well. So the Ted Bundy as a whole person, he brought in. They actually built the criminal database, which a lot of people use now.
Oh.
So he was the first one to say, like, okay, we need to capture him, we need to build a database.
Yep.
And that's basically, they built the criminal database to catch Ted Bundy, but it's now commonly most used.
Yep. For widespread around any other type of criminal in the whole world, I guess.
Yeah, like America brought it in to catch one killer, but now they
can catch thousands, millions, whatever.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you're going to kill someone, right, it's got to be someone no one fucking cares about. Someone that's got no family, and someone that obviously won't be missed. Yeah. Or you're going to go for a popular person, vanish to a different part of the country, and then pop them off somewhere. Or, in our later things, get other people to do the deadly work for you.
There we go.
I've got numbers. I can get you chopped up.
Yeah. I'm not even. I will incriminate myself.
So this guy, he was charming.
Yeah, he was very charming. But the most, he would entice female victims.
Easy.
He would be like, through either a physical
attraction,
like faking a physical disability.
Oh, okay.
Like a broken arm.
I was going to say like a attraction.
Like he would use his good looks back at them.
Yeah, but I was also going to say like he could use you could lure them into bed. They wouldn't necessarily say be a 10, but you could get them into bed and hack them up that way. Easy, especially if you're a charming, good-looking man. It seems like
he would like. In some cases, he has done that.
Yeah.
But most cases, he would use sort of like a broken arm.
Yeah.
And in one case, there was actually two females on a beach.
Right.
And he went around a packed beach.
Yeah.
Asking these ladies aging from the age of 19 up to about 30 odd.
Yeah.
Like with a broken arm.
Yeah.
And you'll go around and could you guys just help me out? I need to get my boat out of my car, kind of thing.
Yeah. Why the fuck would you go in a boat with a alleged broken arm?
Well, no, like it's sort of like a schooner kind of thing. Like you could.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, can you imagine that?
No, that's true. He's got to be back then. You know, you'd have to have.
You'd have to
charm.
be thick.
You have to have charm.
These women must have been so stupid. Well, in some instances, they not being funny. If a woman walked up to you with a broken arm and said, "Can you help me get my boat out of the car?" You'd go, I'd question that.
But we would question it now because of history going, I'm not going to your car with you.
Well, most people don't go to another person's car unless they know them anyway.
Exactly. But back then, it wasn't really a big thing of serial killers. You shouldn't be warned. Like, he would do it to hitchhikers, he would do it to anyone.
Oh, so it was literally anyone that he could get his hands on.
Literally,
just
if he felt like it one day, he'll go out and kill 2 people. If he felt like it another day, he'll drive around in his little Volkswagen Beetle. And so it was like a rusted old Volkswagen.
I was about to say, did he come from money? I mean, I know obviously Ted Bundy in himself, but I don't know much about his background. So if so basically he didn't really know his father. Right.
And
step one of being a serial killer.
Yeah. To be fair, no one really knew who the father was. There was many men that his mother was with that could have been.
Does this play a mental mindset into his mind by any chance?
It does.
I thought so.
Yeah, it does. So obviously
he hates women, doesn't he?
His mother, pretty much.
Yeah, I can relate.
So his mother then later on, once he was born, she then married his stepfather.
Right.
Now his stepfather used to beat him as a young age, just
Part
purely for
2.
the fact, yep.
Just being a serial killer back then.
Just purely for the fact that, you know, he's not his child, so he can do whatever he wants. Kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Not my kid, I can smack you around if I like.
Yeah, he was very smart at a young age.
If he was that smart, why'd he get beaten?
Because so he was known of like the later on as a necrophiliac. So
is that just because it's tighter down there when you die?
I wouldn't know.
Your body seizes up, mate. Rigor mortis plays a huge part in your anatomy. So he's having sex with all these loose women. He waits till they're dead. They tighten up a bit. Nice. This is taking a drastic turn.
Oh yes,
taking a drastic turn.
Very much.
I've ruined all your study now, haven't I? I've ruined the whole lot.
You threw me right off.
You're thinking of tight women. It's getting on here.
It's getting on here.
I'm going to turn a little weak a bit. Right, so Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Smart, charming man, tricks people, then kills them.
Yeah.
Smart move.
So, obviously, most of the women that he'd killed, he would entice them or trick them or do whatever he can to get them back to his car.
Okay.
I would say probably about 12.
Okay.
About 12 of the alleged 30 were killed in his car.
Fucking, he did the dirty in his car.
He would strangle them.
Yeah.
Take them to a secluded place.
Yeah. Rape them.
Yeah. And
can you imagine driving away from the beach? Like, say you had 2 women in the back seat of your car, both been choked out, and you're driving there trying to keep up the appearance of your broken arm, and you're like, fuck's sake.
Well, no, because then he'll just go like, he'll just take the sling off, sling it in the back, and just drive away.
But if he had eyes on him, that man had a sling in it.
If
he's driving off, he ain't got one. It's 2 women in the back.
It depends how far away he parked from the beach.
Oh, maybe I'm stretching it a bit.
You know, like
just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but it is a good thing. Like obviously back then there wasn't such thing as security cameras.
No,
really. Like they were just coming in, but there wasn't really.
I suppose not many
this
eyes.
Is 1970.
So not many eyes are actually going to be on you if you did take a woman back to your car. Everyone would turn the blind eye. Oh, he's getting some. He's getting some.
Yeah, or he'd take a group back and then
participate in gangbangs at his age. Fucking. He's smart.
He was only. This is like when he just turned 20s,
and he was having gangbangs.
Like he would. He would take the group back to his car.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, if you grab that, you grab that, you grab that, you grab that, and then they'll take them all back, and then he'll be like, oh, actually, can you just grab that one for me? And then
he'll fuck
when
her
the rest of the group is gone,
he'll fuck her up, put her in the back,
and then go back for another.
Do you think they were all women, weren't they?
Yeah, all women.
Right? Do you think it was all sexually driven?
I believe so, yes.
Because he couldn't just keep going into a newsagent's and getting porno weekly, could he? And then just get his fix off of that.
No, it wasn't so much of the fix of this. It was more of the fix of the sexual acts.
So he got off to the whole strangling part first off.
Yeah. Then it was.
Then it was the rape.
The thing of and then it was the thrill of I might get caught if I do this. And then it was taking them to a secluded place, and then it was just like, right now, I'm dominating.
So it was pretty much sexual.
It was all sexual driven.
Okay.
It was all sexual driven, but then, as a young age, as I was saying, at a young age, his mother estranged him because he used to practice like all of the sadistic stuff on dead animals. It's very weird.
Do you think he was having sex with these animals?
So when he was finally,
because if so, this takes a massive turn.
He didn't say that he was just. It was more of just the killing part as a child. His first killing was actually when he was a teenager, when he was 14. Apparently, he abducted an 8-year-old from where he lived, and obviously raped and killed her. But he was very meticulous about not leaving any evidence.
Right.
So they just thought it was a passing hitchhiker, you know what I mean, like that killed.
Child got snatched.
Yeah.
Dropped off, dead body.
Yeah.
Voila.
Yeah, there was no. Dare I say it, there was no semen left on the scene. There was no.
It's because it was all inside.
No, there was nothing. But back then they didn't have that technology.
No.
Like, they just knew it as a rape because of the trauma around the areas and different things.
This guy's a bit of a weirdo, isn't he?
He is.
But he's a smart weirdo.
He is a very smart weirdo. He's very smart weirdo. So, over the course of his murder spree, if you'd like to say, he actually killed the ones that we know about.
Yeah. Was it along the lines of like 36?
It was 30. Well, they said it was 42. Or they said it was 42, but he admitted
to 36. That would make a bit more sense.
And he'd done that over the course of 7 states.
So he got around a bit.
He got around.
And you were putting it about a bit by the sounds of it.
Well, yeah, very true. He would do he would even the necrophiliac part of his whole character.
Yeah.
Comes back to when he did take them back to a secluded place, he would then often go back once or twice over the course of.
That could have made him slip up.
Before, like, obviously rigor mortis and decomposition and everything.
It's often known that like criminals in themselves go back to the scene of the crime anyway. So why didn't they figure that one out?
Well, because at this point they never really found the secluded place. He was very meticulous.
Was it just one place?
No, it wasn't just one place.
So it was spread everywhere.
If you think he'd done killings over 7 states.
He could have gone to one state, fucked someone up, gone back to another state that he'd recently been to, had sex with that one. And so basically, he had like a herd of dead sex toys.
Pretty much.
Nice.
And he would revisit them before, obviously, decomposition.
But he does confuse me because you said like he was a smart man.
He was a smart man. He was very set in his ways. But if you think, obviously back then he would have to have some sort of method.
Yeah.
Or methodic thinking.
See,
to think, how the hell am I going to get away with this? But then he didn't really think of that. As you said, he was more of, right, get her.
Yeah. So he had, should we say, a sexual appetite with the living and dead.
Yeah.
He was smart. He had ways of manipulating these women in certain instances to do what he needed to do.
He had the charisma and the
right. So
thing about him to.
So from what I know about Ted Bundy in itself, he escaped prison
3 times.
Right.
Well, twice. No, sorry, twice. But the third one, the second one, he was gone for 3 months.
Yeah. So he escaped prison. And the bit that I know of Ted Bundy is the fact that during certain trials he was going through, when they finally caught him, he admitted to having a sickness in the head. So part of him was connected to reality and the other part wasn't. So this also makes me think that he possibly could split himself into 2 different people.
which brings me on to another thing. Obviously, nowadays we have this most common form of disability, of split personality. Now, he didn't really go under different names.
Right.
There wasn't no, like, this person.
So he didn't use, like, a different persona. He basically, just as you said, his proper name was Theodore. And then he used that other name.
He used Ted Bundy. Yes. As you said, there was, going back to the beach.
Yeah.
There was a lady that actually went, yeah, whatever, I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm with my partner, I'm with my family, I'm not going anywhere with you. And he introduced himself as a very, either British, like calm, talked.
Yeah. Basically, he had the way with words.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Hi, my name's Ted."
Yeah. Oh, that kind of works. Say that to the camera. Hi, my name's Ted.
My name's Ted. Come with me. And he was that very...
Pretty sure he had loads of women come with him, to be honest.
Well...
Some women were into strangles.
There we go. But he would approach his victims...
Right.
In broad daylight, in public places.
Yeah.
And you think, like... And then obviously when they get back to either his car or round the corner or somewhere, he would then knock them out.
Yeah.
Take them to a secluded place.
They'd wake up, struggle, he'd perform his acts, get it over and done with.
And go on and so forth.
So, he was pretty much disconnected.
He were, like, you could say, like, he had the, like, through the day, he had the Batman effect, basically. So through the day, he was a very charming, attractive young man.
Bruce Wayne's a serial killer.
Oh my god. You don't know who I am. But
I'm Ratman.
No. And
imagine being calling yourself Rape Man. Work with it.
No.
Oh, there's a superhero. Oh, it's Rape Man!
Everyone run for their lives.
It's the Strangle Man. Hi, my name's Ted. Oh, hey, here's a superhero we can get behind. As long as you don't get behind me, I'm fine.
Well, you call him, like, he said he had a sick and twisted aspect.
Yeah. So when he was, like, the bit that I know was he was obviously having, like, his trial was due.
Yeah.
He said he had a sickness that he couldn't stop. Like, obviously we know where it originated from because he was so into fucking killing animals.
Yeah.
And probably finding different ways to kill them. What was this, like cats, dogs?
Yeah, it was sort of. It only just says like animals at the time, so it could
so
be.
So you're guessing like the neighbourhood cat got strangled and porked.
Yeah, and like mute like things, but that's not the weirdest part of the Ted Bundy story.
What's the weirdest part?
Wait, there's more. So he has admitted, and they have found, that he had decapitated at least 12 of his victims.
Okay.
And kept them in his apartment as mementos.
Oh, that was Emma from one state.
This was my second.
His Julia.
Yeah, and someone.
Imagine if you went to his house for dinner. He's got all these heads there.
I don't think you'll be coming away from it.
A guy would, clearly. A guy would go in and be like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's Emma, I use her at night time. Hey?
She sings me to sleep.
I wait for rigor mortis to kick in and lube up the lips. It's just... But isn't it his last victim was what? How old? 12. After he escaped from prison, his youngest victim was 12.
Yeah. And that was within the 3-month period. And
that's how they pretty much caught him in this stage.
Yeah.
And then, from what I know, he was given the electric chair.
Yeah.
It was such a build-up.
Managed
to get all these women killed.
Yeah.
Go undetected, be charming. Fuck it, we just give him the chair.
Escape from prison twice.
Yeah.
One for like a week, just under a week, where he got to the border. But then some say that was the precursor of escaping for the 3 months, because then he managed to find out from that first escape how far he could get.
So basically, that was a trial run.
Pretty much.
How far can I get?
How far can I get? Then he appealed.
Yeah. Why would you appeal against doing this?
Because it's all time.
Oh.
It's all time until the next escape.
Oh, okay.
So you think
I could be a serial killer. I miss little bits.
He then. Now, where did I put that name? Oh, for
Like, if I ever went on a mass killing spree, I'd actually forget the tool I'm going to use. I'd see people and be like, where's the knife gone? Fuck!
Goddamn.
Rummaging through me rucksack like a hamster trying to get his dinner. Can't find it. Fuck it. Go home. Start again tomorrow. Wake up, forget me clothes. I'm arrested. Public indecent exposure. What's the point? I'd never get away with it. I'm not that clever.
Yeah. I'd be like, nah, I did it.
Like, you think if you got caught for doing such things?
Yeah. Oh, I feel so dirty.
They just sat there and like all the other prisoners in the jailhouse and everywhere else, they're all looking at you going, what are you in for? Well. I would have killed, but I forgot my knife. So I went back, forgot my clothes.
Some bloke at the end just going, I know the feeling.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Ted Bundy, I thought you died. No women in here, mate. It's just a weird way because he comes across as, like you said, he was smart, he was intelligent, he was charming. He used all this to get his
jollies.
To get his fix.
To get his jollies.
Yeah. And then he's just, I don't know, just give him an electric chair. Like, out of all the people he's killed, all them people would want some form of retribution, surely. So they probably all went to his electric chair death.
Yeah.
He sat there. Did they put a little cap on his head or not? Because if they didn't, it wouldn't hurt so much. But if they did and soaked him, made him wet, made him burn.
I think he would have enjoyed it, actually.
That's what I mean. Like, it's such a big build-up to an electric chair.
But one of the victims' mothers did go and said that his final act, as he was sitting in the chair, was he just laughed.
The thing is,
and then they flicked the switch.
Thing is, right, he has got that last laugh. Because he's killed that many people, he's got away with it for so long, he don't give a shit. He got what he needed to do, kill me.
And in the interview, the last interview that he was they went and he then admitted everything. Yeah. There was one question that they asked him, which I found it threw me off.
Did it send a shiver up your spine?
Well, not really, but it just threw me off. And they said, they just asked him, what are your religious beliefs?
Yeah.
And he said he sat there coldly and said, I believe, like, my original religious belief is Methodist, which was his religion from his childhood.
Yeah. So that's also saying another way that he's disconnected. Like, I believe it was this. It's like someone saying, like, you know, like, oh, what do you believe in? Oh, I believe in this. He's literally saying, I believe it was.
Because I was.
He's literally disconnected himself. These serial killers are weird.
They are weird, but and that's the comment that threw me off, because you think smart, attractive, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you think...
It's the church. The churches do it. They turn you. It's all them priests.
But then, as I said, from a young age, he was estranged from his mother.
Yeah.
Like, he never had that, like, lovey-dovey childhood.
I did not know that.
And nor did I, to be fair. But I'm not going to go around, like, spit out me dummy and kill everyone, am I?
I'm alright.
So yeah, if you see me next time not speaking and not just my head on a spike.
I invite him round for dinner. You don't want to come round for dinner? We've got Shepherd's William.
Yeah.
If you stay long enough, you can have some of his spotted dick too.
Ooh. Oh, the custard.
Can't gross myself out now. Oh, I have to cut that thing up. Why am I going into so much detail? I'm literally now thinking,
how would I cook
how
it?
would you cook a penis? You just couldn't. It couldn't get done.
No, no.
It couldn't.
It's a shrivel up. It's a gristle anyway.
Put tin foil around it.
Boil it.
No. You got.
We could steam it, season it.
Yeah. Skin on or off?
Well, I'm not Jewish if this was not.
How do you want me to serve it?
This is getting very personal.
You're a sick man. You're a sick man. Sick man. So this chap, who you said about, he seems to have all the traits of a serial killer.
Yeah.
When you dig deeper past the personality and what he's done, you can see that it's originated somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But whether people are born with this trait of, I wonder what the inside of the human body looks like, it comes a different matter, doesn't it?
Oh,
It all changes.
oh yes.
Makes you wonder what you go through as a child to then go off and kill someone.
Like it does make you wonder. Like it makes me wonder what triggered it.
I mean,
You know, because you'd always have that moment that would you'd snap.
I mean, like I've been in fights before where I've had to pull myself away because I don't know how far to go.
How far to go?
Yeah.
Or,
And it's like, oh, okay, I need to teach this guy a lesson. And it's like, okay, you teach a guy a lesson, but is that good enough?
yeah, it's just like
So you pull yourself away. The human mind can.
oh yeah, like I've had a fight before in my adult thing as I was coming home from the pub, which was very annoying because I had a lovely day.
So how can you have a lovely day in a pub?
It was very nice because I was meeting a friend that I haven't seen for
I was
12
just going to
years.
say, it
Just like-
stinks of fucking shit.
And so yeah, it was a very nice day, and like we actually got jumped on the way home.
Yeah.
But it was weird. Obviously, yes, I was intoxicated, but I wasn't falling all over the place. It was more of like you could feel
It's that
like,
numb stage.
yeah, it's that.
The numb stage.
And I was like,
Right.
I was having a very good day.
So I'm curious, right?
But I remained calm the whole way through the fight
Yeah.
until I got smashed over the head with a bottle,
Yeah.
and then I just snapped.
But what, as we're on this path of serial killers, right? Where in people's minds, like you must be slightly unhinged to get someone to the point of bleeding if you're in a fight. So you're already in that mindset. So there's part of you going, I'm going to fuck him up, I'm going to make sure he bleeds, this, that and the other. So already, for someone to go out of their way and do that without a purpose behind it, no motive, they're already a bit weird.
Yeah, because like I would have to psych myself up. I'd have to get angry.
Yeah.
But then I would have to then piss myself off to the point of me just seeing red.
But still, say like me and you went out, not allowed, tier 4, but say we went out, and say someone just approached one of us and stabbed us, right? Something's not right with that person to begin with if there's no motive behind it.
No, but then you would think he would. If you think if he was like sick and twisted, he would then think of his own motive.
Yeah.
For doing it.
Oh, he looked at me funny.
Yeah. Or he didn't give me a cigarette or something.
Yeah. He
Or
looked at me
chains
funny.
or something.
He looked at me funny, and I'm gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
That.
But then
That's
it's
mental
the
mindset.
jump. It's the jump between it which fascinates me because I'm fascinated by psychology anyway. Like on how you could think of something and you could literally numb yourself, and someone could be like stamping on your hand, but you wouldn't feel it because your mind is elsewhere.
It's like when we did that test thing, wasn't it? I can't remember what we actually did, but I think Jordan was involved. It's squeezing each other's hand to the point.
To a point of
You could break a bone, right?
And
You were squeezing
have
Jordan's, and he was like, ow, 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 ow.
straight away.
Then you were squeezing mine, there was nothing.
There was nothing.
Nothing.
Because, like, yourself, as we've talked about in the previous podcast, you can detach yourself away.
Yeah, and then when I was squeezing yours, it got to that point, you went,
Yeah, okay, that started to wince a bit.
Yeah. But with me, it was like, squeeze it as hard as you can, do it, whatever. Nothing.
No.
Because
you build yourself up that much that you block all your senses.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like within your own.
So I have the makings of
You
a serial
have the
killer.
making. You have the making. You
I just need to be pushed. I just need to be pushed. One push.
Well, I would, but you fall off your seat.
One push.
Probably get up and hit me. I'll cry.
So, Ted Bundy was a bit of a weird man. Necrophiliac.
Yeah.
Serial killer.
Yep.
Rapist.
Yep.
Only targeted women. Sexually driven. Completely out of the ordinary. But charming.
But very charming. But charming.
But charming. I mean, everyone could get along with him. He sounds like a lovely chap.
And very good looking.
Just don't go on a date with him because you won't make it back.
Yeah.
But another thing, most serial killers, it's definitely coming across that he is sexually driven. Right, because he targeted women.
Yeah.
Specifically. Whereas most killers target anyone.
Yeah. Anyone to get that kill free.
Anyone to get the fix. Yeah, to get the fix. Whereas this guy that I'm about to talk about only targeted men and boys.
So the opposite of the gender scale.
Pretty much. But this guy was obviously bisexual or gay. He had a cover up. No one really knew he was gay. But it was John Wayne Gacy. And this is the guy that I feel disconnected himself by dressing up as that clown.
By another persona, another character.
Yeah, another character. So already he had his normal, everyday person as John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
And then he also had that other side to him that only seemed to appear when he was in that persona, dressed up.
Person.
In that instances. So basically, 33 young men.
Okay.
So it's always around the 30 mark.
Yeah,
These serial killers can't go past 30, they get caught otherwise. As soon as they go past 30, 35, that's it, they're fucked. But he was known as a killer clown. He buried most of the men under his house in a crawl space.
Yeah, in a crawl space.
Yeah, and to me, imagine the police just turn up at your house, randomly, for like a security check. I mean, neighbours said they could smell decomposing, they could smell something dead.
They smell something.
But still, like the police just turn up and you're sat there, like in your house, and you're like, oh shit, I've got 33 fucking bodies down here somewhere. Yeah, like instantly, you wouldn't, if you're going to kill someone, you wouldn't put them under your house. Like, you'd take them far away. Like what I said, you'd grab them,
Ted Bundy would
snatch them.
In a secluded area, away from...
Or he'd travel to different states. This chap buries them under his house, just in case he can go back to them later. That one's not quite dead yet.
I'll eat that one later.
But mentally, he struggled growing up, this chap. He struggled coming to terms with the fact he was gay.
Okay.
He was interested in men, and I guess this, like I said, his normal character, you wouldn't suspect him as being gay.
So was it a personality thing?
I reckon it was a personality disorder. He would take on the clown persona, lure children, mainly all boys, pop them off. And it's just like, why? Like, did he get a fix out of being dominant? Being that dominant person over a child? Or was it the fact he just thought easier? Because most girls would run away from a clown.
Yeah.
Most boys would be like, oh, a clown, let's go see him. Easy target.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm pretty sure if I saw a fat clown, I'd be like, nah.
Yeah, but then we've watched the It movies.
Yeah, but
we know what's coming.
Yeah, but clowns don't scare me.
No, clowns don't scare me. It's just purely the fact that if it came at me and offered me sweets, they better be some nice, tasty sweets.
Get in me van. All right, what you got, Haribo? All right.
Haribo. Got any Starburst?
But he would literally just lure boys.
Yeah.
But his normal day-to-day job was a construction site officer, I think. Or he worked in a construction site. So if he couldn't get young boys dressed as a clown, he'd get quite young guys in his construction to then fuck them up. But he would lure them in with like false promises, jobs, opportunities to work in this construction. They'd get there, he'd fuck them over and take them back to his house. But it would result in sexual attack,
Okay.
human torture.
Would it be mutilation, or was it
was
just
sexual attack, just straight on. I mean, this guy was a big guy, and you could, not being funny, if a big gay came up to you, you'd be like, no, I'm not going to fight you off. You're a big lad. But it was torture, then later on death.
Okay.
But in 1968, he assaulted 2 boys. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but in 1970 he was out on parole.
Okay.
Just
2 years for just an assault.
Good behaviour.
Yeah.
Not touching your penis in the prison gets you out quicker.
Very true.
He was probably touching everyone else's by the sound of it. So
he was definitely a receiver in a baseball term.
But then when he was sentenced and he was out for parole, people would come forward and say, I was sexually assaulted by... But then later on, they'd go missing. They'd never turn up to court.
Ah.
This is where he led himself in. He would obviously sexual assault them. If he could kill them, he would. But if he couldn't, it would just be sexual assault, beaten half to death. And then they came forward after his parole, but then they never went to the court hearing because they were buried under his house.
Yeah.
He's a weird person.
Yeah, and you would think like they would instantly, and maybe he thought it was just too easy for them to blame him. Obviously, in certain aspects, like was he American or was he British or American? Like their laws,
American gay.
Their law actually states that you can't be tried for the same crime twice, or more than twice.
Well,
so like if he was convicted, as you said he was, because he went to prison.
Yeah, it was sexual assault on 2 boys to begin with.
Yeah, so they technically they wouldn't have been able to charge him for sexual assault again.
Yeah.
Unless it was
so basically
like concrete.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Basically, figure this one out. He'd do children's parties, dress up as a clown, touch a few kids, get in trouble. Then later on it progressed.
And then it got more and more.
When he was let out on parole in 1970, in 1972 he killed his first person. It was a 16-year-old boy.
Right.
Then it carried on. But it was all...
Then he got the taste for it, I suppose.
Yeah. Then it was all sexual, to then torture, to then death.
Okay. So he then, for lack of a better word, he perfected his own way of doing it.
Yeah. Basically, he'd get his kicks by sexually assaulting them. Then they'd move
when
on
he's
later on
finished
to kill.
Knocking them off.
Yeah.
Once
And he buried them in the crawl space.
Yeah.
Which the neighbours later found out. They brought up all these smells. Police arrived. Boom. He was sentenced.
Yeah.
Done. But there was more bodies buried near the construction site of where he worked. So maybe they were the ones that he couldn't take back. Maybe his crawl space was getting too big. Oh no, we've got too many bodies
Or
down.
maybe, as you said, they were like the young men, which he couldn't quite, get back without someone noticing, like child.
But his whole thing, his whole image was he'd only perform this shit when he was dressed up as a clown. And then some in the construction site would just happen, and they happened to be the ones that would be buried in that area. But the ones he killed as a clown were under his house. Can you imagine that? Like, you just finished school, you're walking down the road, and this like fucking white van turns up, there's a clown in it. And he just goes, do you want to get in? You're like, no. He's like, I can make you a balloon animal. You're like, oh, okay, you can make me a balloon animal, I'm coming in. Boom, he touches you up, fucks you up, dead, stuffed under his house. All dressed as a clown. So yet again,
psychotic, fucking sadistic young man.
The thing is, they've obviously over time movies have been produced. The Devil's Rejects comes to mind because you got the main guy as the clown in that film.
Like, and I've already mentioned it and stuff like that, which
obviously all come from somewhere.
Yeah.
But he later he was later killed by lethal injection. Which
do you think that's a shit way?
That's yet again another shit way. Electric chair, lethal injection. He probably just laid there, went,
yeah, whatever, okay. I'm not going to feel it anyway.
Yeah, once it goes through your body, done. I wonder if he dressed up as a clown while he got the lethal injection.
Like the Joker, and
Imagine he's laughing as he done it. But yet again, another person, sexually driven, sexual motive, because he liked boys. He had trouble understanding he was gay. Growing up.
So he had like a personal affiliation.
He was already disconnected by society because he was gay.
Yeah, so
Yet
he
this guy was
put
already
into
disconnected by
this-
2 people.
Yeah, this guy, like Ted Bundy, was already disconnected by his mother anyway.
Yeah, and so therefore he lived in Fantasyland.
Yeah.
This guy had to live in Fantasyland to come to terms with the fact he was gay and then just do what he needed to do.
Mm.
But he did it dressed as a clown.
It's very like obviously we said who we was going to research and stuff, but obviously it's very weird that
Yeah.
like we've both found a serial killer.
I like this guy because he's based off horror films.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that he's not like any typical serial killer. I mean, he's quite a stupid one for putting bodies in a crawl space.
Yeah. It's one of those.
It's like, what did his neighbours
Did he
think?
want to be caught?
Yeah. It's like, didn't he have anywhere else to put the bodies?
Mm.
You work in a construction site, bury him under cement.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
No, and a lot of people have been gone like that.
Yeah.
Like,
So I mean, but under a crawl space, underneath your house, let the neighbours smell
yeah,
the
it's like,
sexual
did he
death
even try
appetite of
covering
what
that?
I wanted.
Like, did he even try covering the smell? Did he even try?
Apparently that's kind of what lured police to him in the first place.
Mm. So he didn't even.
But the thing is, they had already let him out for sexual assault on 2 young boys. So yet again, the police, and in this one, are quite stupid.
Mm.
It's kind of like there was obviously a killing over here, won't go too much into it, but they let a guy out after he'd already said he was going to kill again.
Mm.
It's like,
Do you
What
not
people-
learn?
what are people thinking? You work in the police, like the law system's fucked.
Mm.
But to let someone out for sexual assault on 2 young boys, put him back into society where he could be yet again another threat.
Mm.
It's not like he had any rehabilitation
No.
techniques.
Yeah, like
They just
that
threw him
was-
out there and just thought, nah, fuck it. He's a killer clown that could make a really good headline. No. No. I'm sure people that lived in that street must have been like, oh fuck.
Mm.
Oh fuck.
Oh god, he's back again.
Yeah, we're the street of the killer clown. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Why the police would let him out for good behaviour when they're just going to go out and do it again. Like I said,
Mm.
why don't they get
Well,
these
maybe
people
that's what. Maybe that is what kick-started like the list. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
so-
it kick-started something. Like with Ted Bundy, he kick-started police having a mainframe, having something to go back to. Like maybe.
Maybe they found it easier. Like once you've been caught for something,
Mm.
you think, okay, I know what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll go out and do it again.
Mm.
And see how far I can get. There's also that thrill aspect.
Yeah, that.
Let
tempting
alone are
fate
these
kind of
two
thing.
having sexual fixes, they're both then going, oh, I can get away with it.
I can get away.
I
with
can
more.
test my
I can
luck.
do more.
I
Yeah.
can test my luck a bit more. The
Mm.
police aren't going to do much. And
No.
judging by both cases, both don't do much anyway.
No.
Absolutely. But so we have Ted Bundy, the charming, charismatic man
Mm.
who had an appetite for women and fucking them.
Yeah.
And then we have John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. Yet again, another weird one that liked boys and dressed up as a clown.
Mm.
They've all got something the same.
They're all, I would say, forgotten.
They are disconnected
Yeah.
from society at a young age.
Mm.
And they don't know right from wrong. And if they do know right from wrong, they're very clever at covering it up. So far.
It's not looking good, really. Like,
It's not. And considering I just said to you I was going to pick 2 people and just focus on these 2, and you went, right, I'll pick 2 people and I'll focus on these 2. Like, they're very similar.
they are very similar.
One disconnected from society but a charming young man, and you could probably go to the pub and have a beer with him.
Mm.
The other one, well,
It's the one that you would think, he's.
the thing is, when you look at John Wayne Gacy, right, which I'm sure most people have seen a picture of him, you instantly look at him and go, killer. He's got that look. Let alone that, when he's dressed up as a clown, he's got that look. Whereas I'm sure Ted Bundy looks quite an attractive gentleman, especially with the name Theodore.
Mm.
And you think, no, that cannot be a killer.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between
not
these
my
two,
Teddy.
if you had to pick between these 2,
You would go.
You
the
go
killer
with
clown.
it.
Yeah,
You
you
go
would go
with
with
this
the killer clown just
You-
purely for the fact that he looks sadistic. But
yeah, mentally, without the makeup, he looked like a fucking weirdo.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. And your next subject matter.
So
Or your
my
next-
second person of choice.
Your next suspect.
He's quite. I'd say he was
You had a lot of fun
one
doing
of
this one, didn't
I
you?
did have a lot of fun researching him.
I thought you would.
It was more of the fact that, so when he, like, a bit about him, his name was Herman Webster Mudgett.
That first name.
Herman.
Second name.
Webster. Well, Webster Mudgett was kind of like a double barrel kind of thing.
Did he use a double barrel shotgun? That's the question.
Yeah, no. So he was a con artist and a bigamist.
Gets worse. Gets worse.
And he was one of America's first serial killers, so he was like the OG.
Oh, he's the GOAT.
One of the OG.
He's the GOAT.
He was.
He's the GOAT.
He was one of the GOAT.
He's the GOAT that can get it done.
And he was referred to as the Beast of Chicago.
What a name. If you have a nickname. We've just
Beast
given him
of
the
Chicago.
GOAT. Yeah, we've just given him the GOAT, but he's actually full, like, you know, nickname, the Beast of Chicago.
Yeah.
What would I be? The peasant of Kent?
The Lord of somewhere.
The weed of the field.
Over the hill. Just past the Hobbit.
I'm taller than you, you don't give it a sod.
Exactly. Just past it. I'm the Hobbit of the field.
I've got the tree. I said in the last one I died in the tree. That's where I'm going.
Straight to the tree. I dig myself a hole, a little mole. So it is believed that he killed somewhere in the region of 20 known victims to about 200.
He's definitely the OG, isn't he? He's definitely the GOAT.
He is definitely
Ted Bundy and this other chap,
but he
Killer
did
Clown.
it again. He did it again with sort of creating himself alter egos.
Yeah.
With different names.
Yet again.
Yet again.
Yet again.
And the thing that, like, he went under the name of H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
And
that just sounds posh.
It does, but the thing is, he kind of went, obviously, in the years that this was the 1800s.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes was a big thing. So what kind of thing, the alter ego of the most famous, you know, detective, is the H.H. Holmes, who was the, you know, America's most famous serial killer. So you know, it's that sadistic bit.
Alter egos, weird personalities, different names.
Yeah.
There's a link here.
There is.
There's a big link.
And he was identified as H.H. Howard as well. So obviously there's three different things.
Already he's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
He's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
He's got it in the bag.
Probably
had the bodies in the bag.
But as I was going to say, the most thing that intrigued me about this gentleman.
Yeah. You say gentleman like he's a lovely member of society.
Well, he was.
No.
I'm just
Otherwise,
saying,
I'm putting forward John Wayne Gacy as the perfect president.
Think of the crawl space under the White House.
He'd have no security guards. He'd fuck them all.
They'll all have to be women.
Can't have a woman as a security guard for them. Suppose. Wouldn't work though, would it? Unless they're like athletic, like Lara Croft or something, like din 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 din.
Oh. Look, no, anyway.
She had a mansion.
Maybe you used this, but no, she had a crawl space. So yeah, anyway, going back. So what intrigued me about him is he actually built himself a murder house. He actually...
Not being funny, right? Yeah, again, he took inspiration somewhere.
Well, they took inspiration from him. This is like 1860 or...
Maybe that's what like John Wayne Gacy was trying to do. Build a little crawl space so he could just pile up the bodies. You're going to get caught evil. I don't get it.
His house was nicknamed the Murder Castle, and apparently it's not there anymore, but there is some history with him.
But the Murder Castle does
The
sound good.
Murder Castle.
It does sound good.
So he was born May 16th, 1861.
Okay.
In Gilmanton, New Hampshire, in America.
He sounds posh. He comes from there.
He was born into a well-to-do family.
There we go. See?
And expressed an obsession with medicine. And this going back to Ted Bundy also, as a child, he used to practice surgery on animals, and some believe he was like, but he didn't necessarily have sex with them. He wanted to know about the anatomy.
Yeah, I'm starting to think, right, there is a massive line now, because you have all these, like we have John Wayne Gacy, we have Ted Bundy, we have Mr. Posh Holmes, right? We have all of these showing dominance over things which are
lesser.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
It is very weird. Like, so obviously, yeah, he showed an inspiration. Like, he showed, obviously, you know, like we have. He's wobbling.
He's wobbling. Put it there.
We have like the two that I've researched express a fascination with the human anatomy. Medical background.
Yeah.
But, you know, in a well-to-do family, you think, yes, oh, my son is a doctor. My son wants to be a doctor. But it's got that high-profile position for a high-profile family. And
he wants to be a doctor. Go on, then, son.
Yeah,
be a doctor.
Yeah, we'll put the money forward. You can do it.
Of course, you fucking would. Fucking son's a nutter.
So he actually went on and studied medicine as a student at the University of Michigan.
Yet again, another smart fucking person.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He was believed to also steal the corpses, and he used to make false insurance claims with those corpses, and maybe experimented on some of them to further his medical. It's sick. Twisted.
It's not
weird,
sick if you're.
You
can take it home for homework.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I'm sure, like, both of these other killers took it home for homework and then pushed the boundary. Did a bit of extra work. They don't want detention.
Yeah, extra cred.
Extra cred. What did you do? Well, I took a couple of dogs home and cut them up a bit, so how they worked, and you know.
But then back then, no one really knew about the thing. You know, even the high-ranking medical officials didn't really know exactly what was in human anatomy. And
they didn't know the fine details of how everything worked.
Yeah.
Not to this fucking
not
scientific
to this standard.
work.
Yeah, not to his standard. So he did bring in quite a lot of new medical stuff.
Yeah.
And to say, well, actually, if we cut this will definitely happen. So we've got to stay away from that. We've got to work around it. And he actually released some medical journals as well, to say about the human anatomy.
He's a fucking smart ass.
Literally, massive smart ass. So obviously, once he had finished studying medicine at the University of Michigan, in 1885 he actually moved to Chicago, Illinois, and found work in a pharmacy.
Yep.
But this is where he goes as his alias, Dr. Henry Holmes.
Okay.
So it's Dr. H.H. Holmes. He worked his way from being a pharmacy assistant,
you start at the bottom and work your way up.
Yeah, he worked his way up, and in the end became the owner of this pharmacy.
Already you see some fucking weird shit going on. Mentally, like, as you've written down your notes and gone through bits and bobs, you already start to see something happening.
Oh yeah,
playing out,
and you get to see different traits, I suppose.
Definite traits.
Like, and as I said, he was one of the founding fathers of serial killers. You know, so he's already basing himself at a high benchmark.
Yeah.
For any more to come, kind of thing. Like, if you
he's
think of it that way. But then, once he gets to the top, there was a little bit of a controversy on how he managed to become CEO of this pharmacy.
He pops them off, didn't
it is alleged that he killed him, but they've never been able to find the body. Or they, at that time, they never found the body.
Yet again, another mental person who, yet again, is smart. Okay.
And obviously, going back to his house in Chicago, which he built the murder castle. It was a 3-story house.
Okay.
His living apartment was at the top.
To be honest, like this house, if I had a 3-storied house, I'd sleep at the top.
Oh yeah.
Although I might sleep at the bottom or work your way up, it could be like a little maze.
Well, that's basically
Find my bedroom!
This is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Everything was locked and bolted, and there was no physical entrance at the bottom, apart from a secret door which was round the corner, which he could get in.
So he built.
He went up to the top floor, basically.
Did he build this house, or did he get someone to build it and then he made the?
He made the
attachments later on
himself.
He made the the extension parts and other little bits.
Well, I think he took an abandoned hotel.
Sounds like something I'd do.
He renovated it back up to a certain point.
Right.
And then he obviously had people come in and renovate it back up.
Yep.
And then he went in and done all of the his top floor was literally his living apartment, and then 6 smaller rooms off where he raped, tortured and mutilated.
Is this women or men?
Both. He didn't care.
Wow.
He did not care.
The guy doesn't have taste. He doesn't have a gender preference.
No, it was
full on.
What can I do? How can I do it?
And you said,
and how can I get
what
away
was it?
with
20 to 200 possible victims that he's done.
Yeah. They found. He admitted to 20.
Yeah.
But when they went back to the different states and countries, different areas that he lived, they found remains, skulls, and the reason why is they're unsure about how many is my further point. So when he obviously did do these acts, the upper floors were his living quarters with lots of small rooms where he killed and tortured.
Right, so let's get this straight.
A lot of.
He had this. I wouldn't say it's a mansion because it's only 3 floors.
It's a 3-story hotel.
Right, so
basically,
he had this hotel. He turned it into a sadistic little playground of killing men and women.
Yeah, torture maze, murder castle.
He's just up there, isn't he?
He's up there. There was trapdoors.
Wow.
There was chutes. There was trapdoors going straight to the basement.
Yeah.
There was chutes going straight to the basement.
Right.
There was dead ends.
So even if they did try to escape, they couldn't get out?
They couldn't get out. Wow. There was...
you can see the cogs are turning in my head. Imagine if that house...
There was literally... If I could base it on a movie, it's not necessarily Final Destination.
But you went along the lines of See No Evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically, the movie See No Evil is a very, very accurate look at this.
But then also, there must be parts of, is it Saw 1 or 2, where they fall into that cesspit of heroin needles and shit.
Yeah. It's literally, there was traps everywhere.
Yeah.
There was rooms that once you opened them, they weren't lit. You'd run inside and you'd drop 2 floors.
Wow. So either way, even if they managed to get out of one room, they were
you would never get out of that mansion.
What about if he fucked himself up in the process?
He basically, there was shortcuts.
Yeah.
From
one room to the next. I can imagine.
There was hidden doors. There was all number of things you could think of.
I can see why he's the GOAT.
There was hollowed out walls.
So he opened this hotel
where he could walk round the room without getting into any of these traps or anything.
And you could actually watch his.
And he could actually sit there and watch it like the Saw movies.
So he got this hotel.
Yeah. He made
done
all
it up,
these.
Opened it up to the public or to certain people.
Later on, he does open it up.
So this is
and
where
becomes a hotel, which then it gets the name of the murder mansion.
Yeah.
Or the murder castle.
Yeah. So all these other serial killers so far, they've had to go out and fucking hunt for their prey. This guy has it on their doorstep.
He literally did. So going to that bit, during 1893, the Columbian Exposition, Holmes opened up his home as a hotel where many guests would come to meet their end. It was male and female. No one really knows the percentage of male and female victims, but he would basically get engaged to some of the women before killing them. He would entice them in with manipulation.
Yeah, manipulation technique, yet again.
Yeah.
He lure people closer.
With the women, he would get engaged to some of them, then they would miraculously disappear. With the men, he would say, "Oh, come and work for me."
Oh, another John Wayne Gacy situation.
Yeah, in this hotel, like free board. Like, bearing in mind, these were foreign people.
Yeah.
So they were coming over looking to get their money.
Yeah.
To get money to build themselves up. Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah. So they
to make their riches.
They'd come over, find his hotel cheap on TripAdvisor.
The 1890 equivalent of TripAdvisor.
No reviews. Because
he would say, "I would pay you highly."
Wow. Okay. So he literally had his victims just queue up on the doorstep.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
he would then, you know, put them in a room, torture them, kill them, you know, and then push them down to the chute. Where in the basement, this is why I go back to, they couldn't really figure the number.
Yeah, yeah.
Was because he would burn them in the furnace that heated the whole house.
Yeah. And certain temperatures, bones.
Will just crumble bones.
Yeah. Bones will have to be burnt at a certain temperature, and if that furnace is burning, if that furnace is burning all the time, it will reach that temperature to actually get rid of bones.
Yeah.
Saying that though, there must have been a smell.
Not really, because you think you'd burn everyone in a furnace, you wouldn't have that decomp smell.
You'd still have a certain smell.
You would have a certain smell, but
it depends how many he's burning at, like, on what period. But say like he burnt them at night time. Imagine hearing the lungs pop, or your spleen rip open, or your
But if you think this furnace must have been a massive furnace to heat the building.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you've got all the pipes and everything going up.
And if he's
you think there's a chute upstairs that goes straight to that?
Already burning.
So,
I bet you on TripAdvisor it says always warm.
Very hot environment.
Very hot environment. I haven't left me bed because there's a massive hole right there. I don't know where it's going.
But he used to do a lot of scams and a lot of insurance frauds and a lot of things that you would, because obviously he needed money to keep all of this stuff running. You know what I mean? Like, he needed money. He needed to go out and earn a living, or people would start.
Let alone that, most of them probably fucked up his traps trying to get out. He's got to repair them.
He's got to repair them. He needs money to repair them. Unfortunately, he was later then arrested for another fraud.
All the things you get caught for.
Yeah, an insurance fraud. And you think, bollocks, I've killed 200 people and I get caught for a mundane insurance fraud, which I've done throughout my life, basically.
I would be so pissed.
If
I had built this horror mansion hotel style place, put all that effort and work into it, managed to pop people off. How many years did he spread his killings for? Does it say?
So it was a good 40 years.
He'd been killing that many people for 40 years?
About 30 years. He spent then
2 years
in jail.
You spend 30 some odd years killing all these people and you get done for an insurance claim.
An insurance claim.
Or an insurance fraud. You'd be pissed.
Yeah, literally. So
he's not really the GOAT.
Well, he is the GOAT.
He's not.
He is the GOAT.
He had his victims turn up at his doorstep. The other two went out and hunted.
Exactly. They're stupid.
Stupid. Didn't have it all planned out, did they?
But then, back then, they didn't really have that thing of if someone turned up at some, they wouldn't have meticulous records of this name came into the country.
Saying that, they're foreigners.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be there. He had it easy.
Oh yeah.
And he gets done for insurance.
He gets done for an insurance claim. And while he was actually inside, he then, this is where it gets stupid.
Go on.
So he then,
He builds a haunted hotel. Well, not haunted. A
a
deadly hotel.
yeah.
And gets fucked over by an insurance claim. He has all these people turning up. He can fuck them off anytime he likes.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. Where's the stupid part? TripAdvisor went down. He didn't get no one.
No, he then basically teamed up with a person.
He teamed up with someone.
He teamed up with someone to do an insurance fraud.
Oh, why don't you just leave the frauds alone?
Well, this is the thing, because he in his head, they can't do me twice.
Okay.
And so teaming up with an associate, and his name was Benjamin Pitzel, who would, because this Benjamin would fake his own death,
I like
get the money, change his name.
This guy's got it in the bag.
So they don't. His original name at the time was Benjamin Pitzel.
Yeah.
That's who the government know him as.
Right. But what was his name? His alias name? I bet it was something fucking stupid.
No. He didn't have an alias name.
Oh.
Like, they never really, because he kind of I'm done with this, killing myself. Well, I've run out of chances, basically. So this is the one that he settled with. He then later got arrested for it because they went no. So when he teamed up with someone, he then got caught. So while inside,
You don't bring other people in your death schemes,
No.
let alone your insurance schemes.
no. So as I said, going back to the stupid part, while he was inside,
Yeah.
he confessed and confided into with his fellow inmate, who knew him as H.H. Howard, about a life insurance claim, and his name was actually Marion Hedgepeth, who then his
Being born with that name, mate, you'd have to be a serial killer.
yeah, definitely a bloke being called Marion, but
And he come from a posh family.
yeah, but this Marion Hedgepeth was one of the inmates.
Oh.
He wasn't H.H. Holmes. He was
Oh,
one of the
I'm
inmates.
with ya.
He was one of the inmates.
But still, you can see why he's locked up, can't you? I wonder what he did.
And obviously this Pitzel guy was the one that he run this fake insurance claim.
Yeah.
And so obviously he confided in him to say, me and this guy,
Yeah.
Pitzel, we done this fake insurance claim. Didn't go very well. This is now while I'm inside.
Yeah.
But he also confided in him on certain murders that he had done.
You don't tell people when you kill someone.
Well, no, it's that aspect of I'm inside, I need to big myself up.
Yeah, don't fuck me in the arse. I've killed people.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm with
kind
you.
of thing.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So obviously, when investigators, they were asking him questions that were doing all this background,
Yeah.
and they couldn't really get a lot because his name of H.H. Howard
Yeah.
didn't have anything against him, whereas H.H. Holmes,
He's got shitloads on him. Yeah.
and he didn't really have anything against him. But when this Marion fellow
Yeah.
admitted and helped investigators
Fucking hell.
to lessen his sentence,
You don't tell people when you kill people.
you
You don't say shit.
So he then just said, look, obviously this Marion guy was like, no, I need to get a shorter sentence, I'll tell you something
Would
about
you trust a guy called, what's his name, Marion?
Marion.
Would you trust him?
Well, no, but he said, look, I want a shorter sentence, I know some shit.
I can tell you
I
shit.
can tell you shit.
We can get this guy done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he told investigators
Make it less
that
horrible for yourself.
his cellmate, basically, this H.H. Howard,
Yeah.
look him up
Yeah.
as H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
So when investigators then linked the two people,
which was
together,
the same person,
together with like pictures in the papers and the other stuff that this guy had done, and all of these medical journals and everything else,
it's all there.
It's all there, and they were like,
"We've let him go."
What the fuck? So they then finally, they basically let him go.
Yeah.
Made
the investigation on the two people, which was the same person, and chased after him.
There wasn't quite quick enough though.
Right. Okay. Oh.
No.
Oh.
So before he actually got caught again,
yeah,
he thought, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, they're cottoning on to too much stuff.
Yeah. I've been locked up.
I've opened.
Yeah. I've told people what I've done.
I need to end it quick.
Yeah.
So, before they actually caught him again, he had then gone back to this Pitzel guy, killed him.
Yeah.
He thought, you know what, I got caught for this fucking scam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fuck up your family. So he killed Pitzel.
So basically, this is kind of like his last
month, his
last dying act.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he then killed Pitzel.
Yeah.
And after telling his Pitzel's widow that he was still alive,
right,
and he wanted the children and her to go and visit him,
yeah,
he took half of the children.
Yeah. How many fucking children did they have?
So this Pitzel had 5 children.
Okay.
So he took the 3 eldest.
Okay. It doesn't brand the serial killer name right now, does it? Because that usually go for the younger children, more manipulative to get around.
He took the 3 eldest, which was all under 10 anyway.
Oh. Well.
Yeah. So they're all quite young.
That says it all.
But he took the 3 eldest, which were all under 10.
Yeah.
I think one was 10, one was 9, one was 8, something weird like that. But he left all female siblings. Like the other 2 were just female.
Right.
He took all of the male.
Right.
So that this Pitzel guy's name would never ever go any further in history.
Oh wow. This guy's clever.
He is clever. He is a sadistic son of a bitch.
So basically he didn't want this guy's...
He didn't want this. He said, I'm going to fuck your family up.
Okay.
So he said you would never live through history.
Okay.
So he took the Pitzel name and killed it there.
And the only thing this guy's got is related to this fucker.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he took the 3 eldest children.
Mm-hmm.
He promised them that they were going to see their father.
Yeah, yeah.
He got onto the train.
Yeah.
He then took them, and they don't know where these children are.
Oh, still undiscovered.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They definitely know he killed them.
Yeah.
They just don't know where they are.
Okay.
And yeah, as I said, 3 of the 5 became his victims.
Yeah.
After several weeks on the run, he was finally caught in November 1894. So this is the 30th year.
Yeah.
He admitted to 27 murders.
Yeah.
But said there was a lot more that were before he was convicted in there was a lot before. Yeah, there was a lot more.
Okay.
Basically, he said I'm only admitting to 27.
Yeah.
But there was a lot more under my other names.
Yeah.
He was then finally convicted in 1895.
Yeah.
And he died a year later on May the 7th, 1896, when he was hanged for murdering Pitzel. That's the only solid evidence
they've got.
That they got. And they hanged him off of one person, but he killed 199 before that. And he is also buried in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which you can actually go, as far as I've researched, you can actually go and see his headstone.
So let alone...
Which is just his name, nothing else.
Okay, so this is where a part of me doesn't quite get this.
Mm-hmm.
So he never fully got prosecuted for the deaths he done.
Oh.
But most of the deaths he did do was, dare I say,
under a different name. Under H.H. Holmes.
Under a different name, but he also allowed these people into his mansion hotel, and they presumably killed themselves due to his traps.
Mm-hmm.
Smart man. I'm not sure he's the GOAT. He's close. He's clever.
Close. Yeah.
He fucked up someone's life in the process.
Mm-hmm. It's one of Americans' first.
Yeah, but he fucked up someone's life.
Okay.
Made sure the surname doesn't live on, unless the women obviously get married and take on their own name. Right, which I'm not sure whether
some people do, but back then it was
I'm not sure.
always.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was in that timeline. But he fucked up someone's family, killed 20 to 300, 200 people.
200 people. And
Managed
he got hung for one.
and
He's like, oh, you.
It's
Yeah,
clever. It's clever.
Very clever.
See, back then you could get away with this shit, and as we've literally shown, informed you,
yeah.
you could get away
He
with
had
this shit.
got away with it.
Yeah,
he had got away with 199 murders.
Yeah.
And he got hung for one.
Yeah.
But still, like hanging as a final, like they hung everyone back then. To be fair.
That's a letdown.
But still, like being hung for one,
It's not right, is it?
it's not the aspect of not being right, because obviously then they later found out that there is over X amount of things that they've done. But obviously with hardly any bone fibre, like they never had DNA shit back then.
Not to that extent.
Not to that extent.
Not to what we've got.
No. So that there was.
Makes you wonder where these children are. That's left something untied for me. I'm not happy with that one.
But no, I did do a bit of a thing later on. They have found, again, unidentified remains of children just on a specific thing where he is known to have gone.
Oh, okay.
But they can't, obviously, no DNA stuff, they can't pinpoint those two children as being those two.
Gets away with so much. He got away with everything.
He literally got away with everything apart from the one killing. But
he literally said
before he was hung.
Yeah, he literally said he was going to fuck him up anyway.
Yeah.
So he's not smart.
He's not smart, but he gets away with it.
He got the job done.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. He definitely got it done.
Yeah.
Smart man. So far out of these three, this guy, the other two went out and looked for their victims. This guy
one just sat back and waited like a spider, basically.
Yeah, this guy waited for him to come in. He probably gave him a really good meal, gave him a nice room, and then later on,
tortured them, killed them.
But
clever. The torture is, again, in See No Evil.
Yeah.
You know, he would rip nails off of, he would like bend people's things backwards to break their fingers. He would, break their arms, he would poke their eyes out, he would do all of this torture and then just kill them.
Let alone that, he probably had devices that did this shit.
Yeah.
Whereas his fingerprints wouldn't be on it anyway.
No.
Oh, he's clever. He's clever. Alright, maybe he could be a GOAT.
Well, after he left Chicago, as I said, this thing used, I don't know if it's accessible now, but you used to be able to go, and it was basically a H.H. Holmes museum.
Wow. And did it show his torture devices?
And it showed certain devices that he'd used, and certain, as I said, torture ways he would do it, like strap the hands down, cut off the fingers at certain intervals to keep the bloke or person alive. So that he could do torture.
Just so he could get along with doing a lot more to the human body.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it is a very sadistic.
This guy's got it. This guy's got it.
But
he's got the serial killer.
That's what drove me to this bloke.
He's got the serial killer mentality. He literally went that one step beyond the other two.
Yeah.
See, the other two we've talked about, the other one was sexually driven, Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
The other guy struggled with society, had persona, sexually assaulted boys.
And this one, he just done.
This one just didn't give a shit.
Like,
he was like, we're going all out.
Yeah, he done it for. I think he done it the mentality because he could done it because he knew he could get away with it.
Yeah.
He knew that I've done so many before.
Where
he didn't
let
really.
Do you think he laid in bed one night and went, "I'm going to redevelop a hotel. I'm going to turn it into a torture hotel.
Well, no, because by this point he'd already killed. God knows, like 50 people.
Yeah,
so you think
at this point you probably think like, there's got to be different ways to kill human beings. I'm going to create a torture hotel.
I'm gonna find out by having rats in them, because he has a medical background, and back then they did.
So they did experiments to see the human body, see how much it would take,
and thing of the psyche.
Oh, this guy's clever.
So it's just like,
he's clever.
I'm going to replace humans. I'm going to replace the rats with humans.
Yeah.
And I'm going to replace that maze that they have to get through.
This guy's got it.
With a mansion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to create my own ways of doing it and see
what
they do to kill them.
So there was no survivor from this house.
There was no survivor. Everyone had gone.
So even if they did
getting taken or going to it, to being tortured, to being killed, to being burnt.
So even if they did manage to get out of, say, his torture room, they would later bleed to death, or he'd just finish him off his own way.
Yeah, they would never be able to get out of the house, because the entrance and exit was all linked with the apartment, not with his things. And each of the 6 different small rooms up on the top floor, which were linked to his apartment, he would be able to get in, but they wouldn't be able to get out. So it's like one-way locks. Yeah. Or secret doors.
So, like what I said, like if they managed to get out of his little booby traps,
they would never be able to get out.
They'd never get out of the house. They'd probably end up in a different room, fuck themselves up even more, bleed to death, some way or another. So if security cameras were around, and he could rig them round and just watch. But instead, he had little pathways through each room where he could just watch them torture themselves.
Yeah, basically hidden pathways. He had fake walls that he could walk behind so that he didn't put himself into that harm's way. Yeah. But he could still watch and observe how far they got.
Do you reckon he cleaned up after it?
No, apparently not. Apparently he left pretty much. Obviously, he took away the bodies, he took away the things to burn and get rid of them. Yeah. You could still see the bloodstains on them.
But no, I was wondering, like, do you think he had to rig up his traps again? Do you think he had to do all this stuff just to, make it look like no one's been in here yet?
Well, you think no one really could get into that bar.
But say there was
obviously when he did open it up to the general public, he would then have to make alterations so that people could actually get into some of the rooms, but they would never be able to get back out anyway.
So I was thinking, like, say someone fell into like a bed of spikes, right? And they managed to pull themselves out of it. If he hadn't cleaned them spikes, they're going to get infected, they're going to have diseases, especially if he ain't cleaned up.
Oh yeah. Well, he got rid of bodies, he got rid of bloodstains on like the floors. Yeah. But then, as you said, he would have had to reset the trap. But then you would still see a certain amount of bloodstains.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of traps. Dig deep, find out what traps he had.
So there were, as I said, there were traps that the floor would just come away. He would plummet 3 stories. Yeah. Or 2 stories.
Broken legs, broken neck, possibly broken pelvis, spine, you name it, broken.
Yeah, they were. What was it? There was traps where they would impale themselves. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like,
I don't know whether it was wooden or metal spikes. Yeah. Like, I hadn't gone that far into it, but
you can imagine, even if it is just wood, like
a lot of them were trapdoors, a lot of them were dead ends, like everything to just freak you out
and to stop you from going any further, basically. Right. So if you used metal spikes, right, and they fell into them, right, metal is quite a shiny material. Yeah. You could possibly pull yourself away, right? But if you went one step further and used wood, made cuts into each of these spikes where as you go onto it, you try and pull yourself out, it locks onto
certain parts. Yeah.
Then you're pushing boundaries.
Oh yeah, you would never be able to get back out.
Yeah, you're fucked. Interesting.
It is interesting.
Very interesting. I like
and that's what intrigued me with
this. This is a very clever guy.
Person, boy, man.
Don't say gentleman.
But
you don't worship the ground he walks on.
No, I don't. But no, that is what intrigued me with him.
He's pretty. So the next one,
Yeah. So then it leads us on to our last person of topic.
Now, first of all, I like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but this guy's clever.
Okay.
He didn't do the killings himself. Not
right.
like these ones.
Ah.
Nah. So my next one is Charles Manson.
Mm-hmm.
He is a charismatic man, or was.
Yep.
He was smart, cunning,
So, along the same lines as
manipulative.
H.H. Holmes.
Yeah. He had a rough upbringing, sexually abused as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently his mother gave him away for a couple of weeks for a pint of beer.
Oh.
While he was a baby.
Mm.
They said you could have him for a pint of beer. He actually, on his birth certificate, goes under no name Maddox. He doesn't theoretically have a name.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, already you're fucked up. You've got no name.
Mm.
So, like I said, as a child he was sexually abused by men, touched. As he progressed on in his life, he was very disconnected. I think he referred to him as a street child.
Okay.
So he mainly lived on the streets, got done for petty thefts, felonies, theft, mainly theft.
Yeah, like shoplifting.
Stuff to basically survive, because it seems like yet again this mother figure wasn't there.
Yeah.
And even if she was probably
drunk and God knows else what.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think like, are some people born this way?
Yes.
Like
what makes these
your
people?
outer, like your world that you were born into, what you are surrounded by affects you mentally as you progress, as you grow up, as you see things and so on and so on. But with this guy, he was smart, very smart. He had certain ways of achieving what he wanted.
Yeah.
But I also think he was smarter than what he ever let on. Now, he died in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. He did have quite a few severe illnesses from what I can remember or pinpoint.
Yeah.
He has got children. So he has actually got a legacy behind himself, which is now rested. I don't know why you'd say you're like, yeah, I'm the son of Charles Manson. But he got married twice, I think, twice or three times. He had children. He was also a failed musician.
Okay.
He hung around, he used his persona to get around popular people at the time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So he could, I don't know, he could get into certain places, but he played guitar. He was interested in, should we say, like the hippie movement as he was getting a bit older.
Through the 60s and 70s, yeah.
He had this hippie movement. He had, like I said, he had the ability to actually be someone rather than be who he turned out to be, but it feels like he targeted the world and blamed the world for him not getting further.
Yeah, like the failed musician, the growing
the
up on the street,
the upbringing. He hated, it seems to me, he hated the world. And he didn't look at anyone in a certain way and thought, you're better than me. He always looked at people who he could possibly manipulate and, you know, coerce into getting things done.
Getting it done.
So he's famous for basically having a cult.
Okay.
Which I thought was like, right up my alley, really. But no, I've always been fascinated by Charles Manson and the way he talks, the way he says things. Because after a while it makes sense.
Right, okay.
Because
would it be that thing of like if you've been told something for a long
period
period of
because
time?
it's, I mean, he probably used that effect when he had his followers. I mean, he had over 100 followers. But what I'm getting at is, if you have been disheartened by the outside world, you come to the realisation of a lot of things. And you can kind of relate to where this man's been, mentally.
Yeah.
It's not so much of what he says you're going to believe, it's so much like, I'm a failed musician. You failed at things. You can relate to this. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I've failed at things. I can relate to what he's saying. Whether he was like a prophet on how he spoke.
Okay. Sort of that cultist aspect.
Yeah, he kind of had like a god mentality. And the thing is, like, even if you were to look at him, you'd think there's something not quite right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, if he dressed himself up, looked smart, you probably think, okay, he suits a 1960s vibe kind of. Yeah. You know. But the other part of it is the fact that he managed to use everything he's learned. He read books to some extent. He looked at how people... the circles he moved in were quite a famous load of circles.
Yeah.
So he saw manipulative techniques throughout his life, even with his mother growing up, everything else.
What he can get away with, what he can get other people to do.
What he could really get away with. So, I guess he was, at a young age, fragile. He was abused.
Yeah.
He later on actually...
I suppose he kind of shied away from everything and
he later
went
on...
into himself.
I think in his teenage years, he was somewhat abusive towards sexual partners he had. Whether it was mental or physical, he abused boys. How he was possibly abused. So giving back to, yet again, the world that wronged him to begin with.
Yeah.
But, like I said, he's most famous for his cult following, his killings.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily his killings,
No.
but the work of his followers' killings.
Yeah.
That he literally got done by. And the way I kind of see this already, before I go into it a little bit further, I guess, like, you have to be smart to have a following.
Yep.
You have to be clever to have all these people, like, dare I say, throw themselves at you, and you could have this influence. You could have this power over people. Many people believe Manson was crazy. But then others looked at him and thought, wow, you know, like, there are people out there, and I think, like, even before he died, he even said, like, you know, there's still a following for me. Because of how he saw the world. And how people have felt what he's felt.
Yeah.
So you can see where he could kind of manipulate people in this sense. But I guess he's famous for his cult following, the deaths of the cult following, and how when he finally got, you know, locked up, he's locked up for what other people did, not what he did.
What he's done, yeah. So he's basically like...
Yeah. I mean, like, in an interview they did with him while he was in prison, it literally said, like, he literally kept saying, I haven't killed anyone. He was like, but if I was to kill you, you'd know about it. But he never killed anyone. He literally got other people to do his bidding, and therefore it goes on to, like, you know, he's famous for this cult. This cult killed Sharon Tate, and I think, like, her husband or fiance, who was also a director.
Right.
He targeted people who would have an impact on the world and make people go, oh shit.
Yeah, the more higher ranking officials.
Yeah, he went straight in. It wasn't like...
Whoever's in that spotlight.
Yeah. The people that were, like, high up, or coming into that high up progression, and because he'd already moved in these circles,
he knew
knew what to do.
Yeah.
He just wanted to have that impact on the world. So this guy kind of goes further than what we've discussed. These people did it for their own reason.
For their own benefits, for their
own achievement. Whether he liked the fact he had women throwing themselves at him, and they, you know, he would participate in group sex, group orgies, manipulate them. Like, you know, these women and men, who are all part of the Manson cult, they all had something wrong with them to begin with. And he used that for his potential.
For his,
So Sharon Tate and her husband or fiance, who was Roman Polanski, and some other people that were in this household at the time, basically Charles Manson sent a couple of his followers over, who literally worshipped the ground he walked on. They killed them, everyone there. Sharon Tate was actually pregnant at the time. She begged for her life, and they didn't give a shit. They literally done it just simply because Manson said so. Just to get this movement going across. Whether it was going to be like a race war, because he believed that, you know, I'm going to put it in his terms, the white people would die, the black people would then overrun the whites, his cult and his family would be hiding in a pit, they'd come out, overrun the blacks, there you have it. They would then own the world. So basically, like, he wanted control. He had control. And I feel that's what he actually got locked up for. Rather than the deaths of these people that other people did, he got locked up for the control method. He wasn't in power.
No.
He just had control of 100 plus followers. And the world looked at that and thought, you shouldn't have that type of power.
No.
But
no one should have that type of power.
No, well, not necessarily no one, but no one who isn't high up on the hierarchy.
Put it as nobody should not have that power.
Yeah. But it was like, how can you, it's a psychological mindset. He controlled people from disturbing backgrounds that were already criminals, you know, prostitutes.
He just gave them that push.
But some of them had killed. Some of them had killed before.
Yeah.
Some still believe that they didn't do anything wrong before they obviously passed away. They said, "Well, we did nothing wrong. We did what he said." To me, that's passing blame.
It's passing blame.
It's like literally saying, like, we didn't do anything wrong. We just did what he said, and he promised us things, and you know, this is how it happened, and yet this was the guy, you know.
And why am I getting done for it? Like,
because you fucking killed someone.
You did it. Like,
you killed someone.
Like, there's that mentality of like, he told me to do it, I'm gonna do it, but then why am I getting done for it? He told me to do it.
Yeah, it's like pass the blame.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Charles Manson wanted to shock the world, and he did so. Whether his hippie little cult were all on LSD and they were just like off their heads, because they were known for their drug usage.
Drug related, yeah.
Drug usage, group orgies, you kind of get the benefit of this, how it's going.
It's like the dark Austin Powers.
Yeah, he would promise them things. And
it's like, you will be in my inner circle if you
but the thing is, the stuff that he promised kind of came true because it did shock the world. They were scared. Like, people around that area at that time were like, oh shit. And literally it was Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski. So Roman Polanski was already a movie director.
Yeah.
Sharon Tate was
I know some of Roman Polanski's stuff.
Sharon Tate was an upcoming actress, believed to be beautiful, smart, easy on the eyes for having as a female actor. You would have her. You could, back then you'd see people out in the street, you'd pick her directly straight away. You wouldn't be able to fault her.
She was like the next up and coming.
Yeah. It's a weird way of looking at it, but Manson believed there would be a race war between blacks and whites. And this was
a lot of people at the time, you know, there was that gang warfare stuff. It was starting to explode. Like the film The Warriors were based on a cult following. Against.
It's gangs.
Gangs.
I mean, there's gangs out today who all do what the higher up says. But they're not. But the higher up has no doubt killed people to prove his worth. Manson never had to kill anyone.
No.
He targeted deranged people.
He's probably told them.
Maybe
that he's done this and done that.
You don't.
But not necessarily. We don't know. Like, we don't know what influenced those first lot. Well, but we can only say that obviously after that.
It's the aftermath
then
of
brought everyone back in.
Yeah, I mean, it shook the world because it was like classed as a cult, classed as a following. Manson didn't do it, but these people did. These people, I think it was either later on that night or the next night, went off and killed some more people. So already, like, you know, people had to kind of prove themselves to Manson because then they had to kill again. So the people that killed the first time were then sent off with. They were sent off with recruits.
To see if they could actually get on.
And the thing is, Manson had a way with words. He had the way to put it across. He knew how to say it. And many people believe Manson craved money, fame, fortune. He had a CD, music. Didn't get nowhere. But he handed it to record producers. He was in there with music people, music industry, should we say, but he didn't get anywhere because they didn't really look at it. He was overlooked. Overlooked. And by that point you had the Beatles out, you had other people out, and he was obsessed with, obviously, the Beatles and Helter Skelter and that song in itself, which later got put on the walls in blood. But during the Sharon Tate and the Roman Polanski's death, you know, they said to Manson, we've done it, what do you want us to do? Like, imagine being at your, like, holiday home, you know, enjoying life, strangers turn up, just fuck you up for that whole night. You'd be like, wow. Like, there's been so many progressions around the world. A film called The Strangers is based off of what actually happened to people that live in the woods, went there for a holiday, got tormented all night by people wearing masks. Very similar, cult-like,
cultish.
no real reason behind it. The only reason Manson had was it would shake the world. Yeah. And it did. So he got people to basically kill. But like I said, many people believed he wanted fame, fortune, money, everything else. Yeah. He then later said, what's the point of having money? I've earned money, I give it back for the things I want. Why do I want more? Which, yeah, again, you can now think on that.
Yeah, no.
You could be like, well, he makes a strong point. Why would he want money? What's that going to do? He robbed people of money, he had money, he spent money. He only gives it back to the people in power.
Oh, yeah.
What was the point of the money? The fame he got was from his cult following. But it wasn't the fame that he could celebrate with.
Yeah, it's not a
it's the kind that, you organised a killing, you're going in prison. He's like, oh, okay. It's kind of like, fair enough.
Fair enough.
It doesn't really mark that in my head of like, oh, he didn't really put up a fight.
No.
I mean, the words pig, rise, and helter-skelter were actually used with blood. I think Sharon's Tate blood was actually used for the word pig. And that's only because he told one of them, he was like, write something witchy. So she put pig. I mean, it's not really witchy, is it?
It's not. But then, as we both discussed, I think the aspect of, getting that human blood on the wall is already back then, I suppose, a lot of fables and fairy tales and different dark play. As I said, like if you write something in human blood and pronounce it, it's witchy. Like it's.
I mean, if you look, you can either look at it as in witchy pig, right, or you look at it as the fact it's Sharon Tate's blood. What do pigs do? They're hungry. They will constantly eat. Gluttony. It kind of works in that sense that she was a celebrity. She's getting more. Maybe this woman that killed, I can't remember her name. I mean, his followers are everywhere. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, maybe this woman looked at Sharon Tate, killed her and her unborn child while she pleaded don't.
And you're hungry for fame. You want that promotion.
You're a pig. You are a pig. And therefore she was jealous of her, fucked her up, wrapped her in blood.
Who knows?
It's another way thing. But he promised them that they would have everything. Everything in the world, they would go into the pit and
they would be reborn.
Yeah, it was off your head type of wacky drugs that they were on that they would believe. So maybe these people, I'm not sure whether they did or not, but maybe these people were off the head on LSD and fucked people up and thought Manson was like Jesus Christ or something. Yeah. But the more interviews you look at Manson, the more you realise that he kind of doesn't really have a screw loose.
No,
he's not the one who has the screw loose. I mean, it's like, as I said to you, if me and you were driving and I said, Will, drive faster, you drive faster and you kill someone, whose fault does that go under, mine or yours? I'm influencing you to do so, but you're the one that did the deed and killed. I said, Will, drive faster, go on mate, go faster, and you're like, yeah, and you kill someone and you're like, who's at fault? To me, mentally, I would simply say you, because you're behind the wheel, you're in control of your own. Yeah, you shouldn't be influenced by someone. So Manson had the charisma, the manipulative fortitude to sucker these people in,
and the intelligence.
To
wind them round the thing, to get them under the control.
See, to me, words don't make you a murderer, but your actions do. And them actions are what them people did.
He was just that, as I said to you, he was that bloke that's standing at your shoulder going, do it. Yeah.
But he would yet again use his manipulative techniques. Yeah. Like most of these serial killers can do.
Yeah, they can twist it.
They can make you do whatever you wanted to do.
Well, or didn't want to do.
Yeah, or didn't want to do, but they got you so far. Yeah. And then it progressed. Yeah. Then it was like one of these major things. And to me, to have this power that Charles Manson did, these people didn't have followers. No. This one does. And if you can get enough people to back your beliefs, much like religion, if all of a sudden Jesus Christ came down now and said, I want all the Christians to kill the people that don't believe in me, how many murders do you think would take place around the world.
A lot.
Exactly.
A lot.
And I feel this is why he was locked up. Because he had that power.
Yeah, well, it's not being funny. It is a fine line between cult and religion.
Yeah.
It's a very fine.
Snakes of madness. He's having a howler.
But no, as I said, there's a fine line between cult and religion.
Yeah.
Like,
many people.
You think going back, you've got Christianity, you've got paganism, you've got everything. You know, each in some certain aspect has started off with a cult following.
Exactly.
And
this is what
exploded into a religion, or
you have Ted Bundy, a womanizer, a charmer, a guy that got it done and got his kicks.
Yeah.
We have John Wayne Gacy, the clown
a loner,
basically. Another loner.
A loner, shied away from the public eye, but still got it done.
Holmes, a guy with an intelligent background, a wealthy family.
A well-to-do family.
Whereas Manson had no one and made his name and got a following, all because of words. I often feel your voice box is the main power you could ever have.
Oh yeah.
Your voice box in your brain is the most intelligent and powerful thing you have.
Well, that's why it's like things. So you could, I could, cut your arm.
Yeah.
That cut would heal.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, well, that was ages ago. That's when I got blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So there's a story, but it's only a one hit wonder kind of thing. You got sliced, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then if you mentally assault someone or put something or a word in someone's head, that is going to stay there for years and years and fester and ponder.
You can imagine them all sat around the campfire. This is what got me. Like, there's pictures of them all together. I mean, one of his followers was Sexy Sadie. That one stuck in my head because I was like, why did she have that beginning name? But most of the women he would cohort into his little circle.
Like inner circle
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it was sexual favours. They were participating in orgies. They were really into this. But then, to be in that mindset, you've got to be unstable anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of a twist in life anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I understand living for the moment. Oh, hey, I'm going to participate in an orgy with 7 other people. Might as well make the most of it. Yeah. I understand that mindset. You only live once.
Yeah.
But then I also understand the other mindset of he managed to get them to do it. He had that power. Whether he was...
I think that's what intrigued me when we was talking about who we've got. And it was just like, wow. Like,
he was powerful.
One of the guys that I've got is sort of like, okay, they've done this thing, and Holmes got away with so much stuff. Yeah. But then got caught by what? Yeah. And it's just like, but this guy has never done.
He's only
as far as we've known.
He's only ever been done for petty thefts and crime-related things, and some sexual abuse.
It wasn't like he's killed someone. No. He's done this.
But the people that he brought into his circle had.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, all of these guys that we've done before have killed before, have experimented on stuff. Yeah. Like, all of their criminal records are murder oriented. Whereas this guy, he has come in with nothing. Yeah. Just, as you said, like petty things in his youth. Yeah. But then got struck down because
other people have done it in the bidding
in his name.
Yeah. I mean, his main criteria was he looked at people like celebrities, mainly the Beatles, I think. It was the Beatles' music of Helter Skelter, which they later put on the wall of the other household that they managed to kill. It's not really that well broadcasted in terms of the Sharon Tate and
they're not
her husband.
High hitters,
they're not that high hitters, but they were quite a wealthy area where they hit. Yeah. But it was more of the Helter Skelter, and Manson believed that that song related to a race war, and he used the environment around him to get influences, to socially exploit people, to get them to do his work. And to me, that is just a clever way of thinking, because literally he doesn't lift a finger. No. He could sit there dressed as Jesus,
or a mafia boss.
Yeah, but these killings were insane. Like, it wasn't like Oh,
it wasn't like a.
It wasn't just a one-hit wonder of Ted Bundy with a woman, or
yeah, it wasn't a hit. It was.
These were like gang-style hits on famous people, and it was like he had a list. He even said he had a list of people. Tom Jones was yet another one he wanted to pop off, and you're like,
it's because I have done a little bit of thing in that aspect of it. Obviously, I don't know the specifics, but I know the reason why he put some of these high-profile pop people on there is because he was the failed musician. He said, like, they're not doing it right.
Yeah, they're not broadcasting
because
themselves.
Tom Jones and Elvis Presley and they do the pop, but they put their own twist on it.
Yeah,
they wouldn't do pure.
I mean, say we didn't know the background of Charles Manson, like we just now know, right? And say like there was killings that took place in America, and on the walls was the word pig in itself, and then the next night, Helter Skelter and Rise are on the next wall, and you're thinking like, what the fuck? Like if you didn't know where Helter Skelter came from, if you didn't know the background, and you just saw it as a mass cult murder, you're thinking like, oh shit, what the fuck? This is what shocked the world. This is what hit everyone. And it was just like, wow. This isn't just a regular run-of-the-mill woman walking home, I'm going to snatch her, strangle her, rape her, and do this. This is like a full-blown attack. And it's not just an attack on people, it's an attack on society, the world.
Culture,
the world itself.
Symbolism, like symbolization. So it's a variety of stuff, but it's so hard hitting. That it just shocks.
I mean, like I said, do you hear the word pig, Helter Skelter, the word rise, written in blood, actresses, actors dead, movie makers, everyone else that comes from a wealthy background that are quite familiar in these circles. You are literally hitting that nail right on the head of who to target and how to make an impact.
You literally write celebrities, circle around it, and it will go off.
Make an impact. And that's how Charles Manson, like I said, got famous. He got known.
It's that top 2% in it. That or top 1%. Should I say? It's hit the highest, hardest.
But then, in my head, I look at all these other serial killers. I think, okay, they've all had a rough background, apart from that posh one, right? But that posh one exploited his intelligence. He was too smart.
He was too smart, and he used to sit there and think.
So the way I
want to know about the human anatomy, so he used to.
The way I see Charles Manson is someone that was pushed aside, was more of a watcher, and then he used what he'd watched and seen.
Of what he influenced, not influenced, but what he experienced, he'd gained from watching people. And then he exploited how powerful he was. And then he got others to kill. He's powerful. He is.
He's powerful. And like I said, like he said in like one of his interviews, like he said if he stands on top of a mountain and he tells you to move it, you move it. It was like, if not, I'll move it, and you don't want me to move it. That in itself is like,
because it will inflict more damage to you.
That in itself, you're thinking like, what the fuck is this man capable of? Like, what could this guy, what could he have done? Even if he didn't have as many followers, like, could he have literally gone through this whole gang mentality and just done it all? I think the fact he had so many followers, the fact he targeted celebrities, he was instantly snatched up. He was snatched up, and his run didn't exist. Or didn't exist for a long period of time. But this one shook America. This one had everyone going, whoa, this guy's got something. And when I've watched interviews and someone, he was charismatic. He is intriguing. You look at like an interview of him, you think instant serial killer, but then also think he hasn't killed anyone. But then you watch the way he moves, the way he talks, the way he
I have watched one or two, and he's very laid back. He's very calm. And he will look directly at the person who's interviewing, or he'll look directly at the camera and be like,
and sometimes
I didn't do anything wrong. I just influenced people.
But even then, he's saying, like, after his death and stuff, he said, like, before he died, he said, like, I've still got followers. people are still out there that worship me, and a lot of people still do. And they don't necessarily. There might be some people that worship him for them reasons that he was.
For the wrong reasons, yeah. But
then
I would say most of the people are intrigued with him.
I looked at Charles Manson with an open mindset. I didn't watch him or read up on him as a killer.
Serial killer.
Yeah. I didn't look at that. I looked at a guy that was simply outcasted, shunned, and who had nothing, and managed to create such a legacy for himself with a following. It makes me wonder how far this following would have gone.
Yeah, if he was just left and
if the kills were just done.
You know, if you think like even from say the police aspect of it, you know, you catch one or two followers, but you've got like the other 100 or whatever behind them that are still going out and doing it. Yeah. You could never find
that was the point.
The big one, like the big boss or something.
It was
going back to a mafia reference. Yeah. You would never be able to get the big one without taking out all of the little ones.
Exactly. And even when you take out the big one, he's still recruiting.
All the little ones are still going.
But as I said to you, like there was actually a house in the UK that was specifically exploited as a Manson house. And the history on that was they were part of his followers that lived there. And it was the townsfolk that actually set the house on fire, and it's still abandoned now. And the history that wraps around that house, knowing that these people travelled from America back to England, they followed him, they wanted to be part of his little cult.
And if you think, like, that's not that, at that point...
Mate, it's widespread.
Oh yeah.
Now it's widespread.
That's what I mean. At that point, it's no longer a cult.
No.
It then turns into, once it goes out of the country, I would assume then...
This is what I feel he was locked...
borderline religion.
Yeah, this is what I feel he was locked up for. He was locked up...
He was too big.
He was locked up for the manipulation process.
He was, I would say, was gaining too much influence for a nobody.
Yeah. Not being funny, he was a nobody. He got followers, then fucked up some upcoming celebrities who had already appeared in movies and so on. But you know, the holiday house that Sharon Tate and her husband or fiance was actually at, he went there and recorded music there already. He knew how to get in. And he sent them in. He literally was like, go on then, off you go, I'll sit here and watch. And that was it. They all got fucked up. And to me, in my head, I'm like, that's power. That's power that not even the government have. How many people, like, can you imagine our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson? No, it was like, we watch the news, what tier are we in today? Oh, tier 5. If you want to go out and socialise, you have to kill your neighbour. How many people are going to go,
nah, can't be honest.
It's funny, I look at my neighbours and feel like, maybe.
But then it's like...
He hasn't got that power. No. He hasn't even got the power to separate people in tier 4 and tier 5.
No.
He's like, no, tier 4, tier 5, fuck it, you're all staying in, you're not going out. Fuck you, I'm going out. But it's that simple, but he doesn't have that power that Manson had.
No, and going back to that high profile like Boris Johnson, yes, he's the leader of the country, but he's not in control. The government is. Parliament technically is.
And Parliament isn't in that much control.
No, because everyone's separated out.
Do you feel...
Like, it's a joint effort
that so you have...
fucks up a whole country.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Do you feel that other countries, other presidents and mayors and so on, do you feel that they are in more control of their country, or do you feel that we've got control? Or do you think that they're just there as an authority figure and that's it? Do you feel that every country has authority? Because I feel they don't.
No.
I don't think anyone does.
No, they are a letterhead. They are, you know, I would always say to myself that obviously England should be a sovereign state. It should go back to a sovereign state.
Yeah.
We should have a king and a queen
and
rather than a parliament, because the parliament, even though it seems like, oh, we can't really do anything without a parliament, yes or no, but yet the people are the one that decides what parliament passes and what doesn't pass. We've got the control over who to vote in
do you
other
feel
places.
Do you feel that if we were to have full blood like.
Like I'm not gonna say right. Let's go to number 10 and bulldoze it.
No, but do you feel that if someone had that power to do it, they would do it? Like, do you feel that there is someone out there that could possibly take the rise?
I would assume so. Like, I would hope so.
You'd hope for death?
No.
A cult following?
No, but I would, like, as I said, I always believe in a sovereign state.
So do you feel then, obviously, going through our serial killers, they've all had an impact on history?
They have.
But do you feel that any of them were actually powerful other than Charles Manson?
Not really. Not really. Like, Holmes,
See, when we...
he comes up to that bracket because he's done all of it himself.
Yeah.
Apart from, obviously, the scam that fucked him up. But
do you also think then that Charles Manson was smart not to get involved? Or do you or do you feel that he should have got involved physically rather than vocally?
But then again, if he did,
he'd be fucked.
He would be fucked straight away. Yeah, because then
Yeah.
it would twist his own mind, so he wouldn't be in control anymore.
Yeah.
He's got his hands dirty. He would,
he
he'll
would
be
then
that in his
he
conscience.
wouldn't need his followers.
No,
He could then go off and do it on his own, and he'd be in line with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Whereas the fact he had these followers,
He didn't need to.
it made him powerful.
It did. It cleared his own conscience in some way. He took a step back, basically, and gone,
Well, yeah,
I don't need to do it.
His words were, "I don't feel guilty for anything."
No, because he has no guilt to do it.
No. He
Because
had no reason to.
all he's gone, well,
Well, he died
if
in...
this person, suddenly managed to die in him,
Nudge, nudge, go on, Will, off you go.
we would then have this happen.
Yeah.
They would have to bring in a law to do this.
Charles Manson wanted a race war. He wanted to be the supreme race with his cult. Whether he would then later off, like if his plans ever did proceed, or they ever did manage to proceed to that point, and he didn't die, I think it was in 2017, and he was never caught for this. Say like no one caught him, and his followers continued to progress, he would have, I know it's probably going to insult a lot of people, but he would have so many fucking followers. I mean, I feel that after his death, he's got more followers because people now believe what he's saying because they see it. They see it in today's society. They see, letdown, disappointment. They all suffer what he suffered. And this is where I can relate to his mindset, but I can't relate to the killing in my head. I relate to proving a point.
Yeah.
I relate to shocking the world.
One-upping the leaders kind of thing, right?
But I don't relate to anything else. But I think one of his followers was also planning an assassination on the president, which is yet going to be another big hitter. If it
would have been the biggest.
Yeah, if it followed through. And like I said to you, if I had like 2 days to live, I'd fuck this world up.
I would do things.
Yeah, I would fuck this world up, change history, get my name in that history book, so that way even if...
Yeah, I might be gone, but I'm still remembered.
Yeah, like people still write about me, people still do this, and this is what we've actually come to a conclusion of. We focused on 4 killers, or 3 killers and a cult leader. Yeah, we focused on these 4, and all have that background, all are charming, manipulative, apart from that clown. Like, the clown just used the clown as a face.
He used a persona.
Yeah.
He used a persona. But the rest of them used their looks.
Yeah, they used something.
And used an attribute.
But the thing is, what makes them incredibly scary, and I feel that this is where it's going to now take on a different turn, what makes each one of these incredibly scary is the fact it could be anyone. Anyone could go through something so traumatic, and they turn. Or they disconnect, they then change their ways. And this is why when I watch horror films, I sit there and think, shit, all these horror films that are released, shit. And then
you get that one which takes the plot, throws it out the window, puts something new in there.
It's because I feel that...
You think, oh, hang on a minute, that actually worked.
Yeah.
That, that
I mean,
slight change of
when we discuss
mindset.
folklore and stuff, and we discuss the moon landing,
Yeah.
like back then when the moon landing was taking place, they also produced films of vampires that no one believed. and yet folklore states vampires exist, and there are people today that do drink human blood.
Yeah.
That is a vampire. That's what it is. That's what you. That's your category.
Kind of thing.
That's your category.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, okay, well, I don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in vampires, don't believe in this, don't believe in this. What makes it scary is the fact the human mind and what these people were capable of. And it could be your neighbour, it could be anyone you know, could be this type of person.
It could be that person that, you know, you didn't open the door for, or you didn't, you know, you'd walk down the street and you've accidentally nudged them one day, and they've taken that nudge to be like, you know what, fuck all of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start.
Can you imagine me with a cult following? Just saying. Maybe that's what I relate to him quite well. Like, I don't relate to his killings. Just clarifying. I don't relate to his killings, but I relate for the symbolism and how he saw the world.
Yeah.
How he had it. Because, like, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to go home and be like, what was this Charles Manson guy really like? Literally watch him.
But no, I have watched a few of his interviews, and
it's believable.
It's believable.
He's powerful.
But then in the own circumstances, he believes what he's saying. You know, he's not going.
I think that's what makes him believable.
We've got to do that. We've got to do this.
That's what makes him fucking believable, though.
I believe what I need to believe. You know, if you want to believe the same thing, you know what to do.
Yeah. At that point, I'd click like, share, and subscribe.
Where's that bell? No, but that is the thing. That is, he's calm. He's collected. He knows what he's doing.
But then he did show. Whether he did it for the camera, like in his interviews when he was in prison and jail and like his thing, whether he did act a little bit.
Wasn't there one where he showed compassion and then backtracked himself right at the end, so that it was
But he was so fluid, and like in one interview, I guess, he's talking to someone. He goes, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And it throws you off. Whether it was a technique that he used, where like he got asked that question, he spoke in fucking gibberish, and it's like, whether he's playing on that crazy mindset,
it's like, now you think I'm nuts. Ha ha ha. Or now you think that is why. Or it could be what they say is like a tick.
Like
but when he's put under pressure.
I wouldn't say it was a tick.
No, but you know what I mean.
It could be.
It could be.
I wouldn't say it was a tick.
Or a trigger word or something that, you know what I mean. Like it's. It's one of those little things that you don't really know why he did it.
Out of all of them, Holmes decided to just kill anyone. Ted Bundy focused on women. Clown Killer decided on boys.
Just men. Because of his own personality.
But Manson.
You wouldn't have.
He was sexually abused by men. He then sexually abused men in his teenage years. He then got married and had kids.
I mean, you know
there's no clear motive.
I'm done with that. I'm done.
Like, where does he go?
I've got arrested like 3 or 4 times.
I'm sure someone's gonna fucking hate me for this, but what part of his mind, whether bisexuality actually existed mentally in people's minds at this point, but at what point did he go from sucking cock to then having children? At what point did
that's that thing. It maybe at the time he was just like, right, I've got to be seen.
But then he participated in orgies later on, so it don't really matter. But you see what I mean? Like, when he was like obviously a child, he was abused by a man, a father figure. I feel that his mum remarried, I think, and then he got abused. He got abused, right? And then he went off and did the abusing himself, saying, like, I suffered this, you now suffer this. And this is his mentality, I feel, that he went through so much, he wanted to give it to the world. Like, fuck you, have it back. But then, like I said, when you go from sucking cock to then getting married and having children, and then participating in orgies, it's like, oh, he's very flamboyant.
He's very flamboyant.
I like him. I like him, he's got charisma.
He's the Llewellyn Bowen of the serial killer world.
But to be honest, he did look like Jesus Christ. But then Jesus Christ, that picture of him is an Italian man and no one should ever believe it.
No. That is a fable and a story time for another podcast.
But Charles Manson, your lovely Holmes chap.
Yes. Not the detective.
Ted Bundy,
My
and Killer
dear
Clown.
Holmes.
These were the 4 we focused on. Obviously, we'll probably focus on bigger people later on. I mean, I don't know how big you can get, but
No.
they've all got a common trait. They've all
And not just all American, or just like...
yeah, they're all American.
They are all American, but there is some people that we're doing in the future that are not.
Yeah, but this person, or these people, have a trait. It seems to be very progressive, and it seems to escalate as years go on, until they're caught.
It festers.
Yeah. And it's
festers
like what Ted
in-
Bundy said, there is a sickness inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure whether Charles Manson had that sickness, but he had a god complex.
He had a god complex. He had that...
Split
not
personality,
necessarily-
perhaps.
Yeah, not split personality.
I wouldn't even say he was crazy.
But he had that... He had a complex
Yeah.
about himself.
And
He
he
was just
had-
like, no, I'm better than
It's kind of like he was a messiah,
Hmm.
and he was like, hang on, what I say is going to happen, and if it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise my followers won't believe me. And that's what he set out to do.
Yeah.
He wanted to prove his lies, basically.
But no, there are 4, I would say, 4 of the most, like, okay, like, Holmes, technically, you know, if you said serial killer, you would go, like, you would go to Manson in a fashion.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't necessarily pick these first 4 that we've done
No.
and go...
I think Ted Bundy, there's been a lot of documentation on him.
There has been...
Holmes, I never really knew about until we started looking into it a bit more. Charles Manson I knew about.
I knew of Holmes through the murder stuff, like the murder castle, like that thing, because I was watching.
And the last name rings a bell, so I think you dare say you watched the documentary.
No, I didn't. No, it was a film. It was the See No Evil film.
A film, and then afterwards you watched the documentary, didn't you?
No.
You've got to watch a documentary. It's the first day of the year. You got to watch a documentary.
Well, I haven't yet.
Well,
there's one on Sunday actually, which I'm very much interested in.
well,
but I will let you know on that one.
I'm pretty sure you will tell me about it. Pretty sure you'll be like, we want a topic on this. Okay.
It's interesting.
Okay.
But no,
is
like,
it dinosaurs?
It's not dinosaurs.
Fuck
It's not dinosaurs. Look, I am a dino nerd, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
If it's dinosaurs, mate, I ain't interested. You can sit here on your own and do your podcast.
Well, it was a side thing that I was thinking about. I have a few other YouTubers that are interested in this stuff that I might be able to get together. Now I've got the equipment.
See? I'm not needed.
I want a divorce.
I'm chopping your arm off.
Oh, is it going to be with rosemary? I like rosemary.
I'm pretty sure I can get some of my followers to chop you up.
Oh,
It's fine. It's fine.
Damn cultist.
Charles Manson is not.
He's a cultist. He is a cultist of the darkest kind.
No, he's not.
I'd rather read them. I swear to God, if he's brought out a Manson Bible,
There is actually Charles Manson books where he does. No, it's
a leather cased Bible that smells of human pig DNA.
I'm gonna buy it. Stick it up on me bookshelf. I'm gonna sit here and pray to him.
But no, like, I hope this obviously gives you you guys some, you know,
You guys say insight, aren't you? But
Not
most
insight.
people know these people.
Yeah. But I was just like, it's
But he's my
interesting
favourite.
I prefer Holmes. He's got a whole house.
I don't care. I'll just get my followers to fuck you up.
Yeah, if you can find out how to get to me. I live in the basement with the furnace.
I think the last thing you want to see is a killer clown coming towards you and it'll bum you, then you've got his followers fucking you up.
Straight down the chute, mate. I think I put myself down the chute. Fucking burn myself. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, to be honest, you would. You would.
But
yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed like researching, which is very weird. Like I had researched, like even when I was at school, I had never researched this much in so short amount of time.
Who plans this shit? I don't plan anything.
Like, if someone read through this like notebook thing and like the amount of dark shit I've got in the first 4 pages, mate, I swear, I think I'm some sort of cultist myself.
If you want to buy this book. Which then leads us on to something else.
It does. It does.
Go on, be my guest. Use our channel to...
It does. So, obviously, it's more of a personal achievement for myself. But I have got the bug, and it's not an instruction manual, it's not how to do manual.
Should be.
I know it should be.
I'm going to do mine. How to be a cult leader.
Buy them Maxim Bible.
No, how to be a cult leader, and that's it.
But no, so I have done my own book.
Willie!
It's basically, I forgot to try and show this now.
Go on, show it. Move your mic. Go on.
So it's basically got some, I don't know if that's in the shop.
Should be.
But I've basically got some...
He's got his
artwork in there with some information on what I was doing at the time and what I was more focusing on and what I wanted to achieve. There is all manner of scale of things on like what I was focusing on, whether it would be sky, like foreground.
I've got to admit, they actually look really good in this book.
Mm.
I like how you went with baby blue.
Yeah, eggshell blue actually. It's like duck eggshell blue.
We will put a link to this in the description. So if
Yeah.
you did want to purchase it, just some paintings of what he's managed to put in here.
There is a wide range of, like, from when I first started, of like just doing tonal pictures to, like, you know, just focusing on how to draw a tree, or just focusing on, like, with a bog standard background.
Yeah.
How can I fill this space? Like, what would be people want to look at?
Yeah.
Basically. And then it sort of like progresses on to a whole picture of what I've actually managed, like, to achieve out of all of my practice. And then it obviously goes into a little bit more about the different effects and different things that I wanted to then go for.
I like that one. I like the bridge. You got the bridge really nicely on that one.
So obviously with like the bridge one, it's purely like, if I put a bridge in there, how do I get the shadows? How would that affect the scenes? How would you know? How would I then do?
How many pages is it? 20, 21?
So it is official 20 pages.
Okay. So there's 20 pages of some of his artwork that he's managed to do.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was 11 watercolour pictures.
Yeah. And like you said, some writing to explain.
Some writing about, I'll just read a brief...
Always reading.
Just a brief bit. So with the bridge.
Yeah.
This is one piece I'm especially proud of, as it's made me think about 3D effects and putting in a bridge into my paintings.
Yeah.
And what would it look underneath?
Yeah.
Like,
so basically
what would it look like
reflection
underneath,
and how it
reflections and different shapes and different ways of thinking and how to do stuff. And then it goes on to, like, how would I frame a picture?
Yeah.
Like, how do I get the people that are looking at my artwork to look at specific things straight away?
Yeah.
And you think, well, I could frame it with 2 trees, mountains in the middle, but use my dip and using my colour to pinpoint right into the middle of the painting.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really necessarily see the trees to the side, whereas you would instantly go to the reds.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I noticed about this was this tree here, and then it moving into here. So, I'll have a quick look. So yeah, you're going to leave a link and stuff.
Yeah. In our description, there is a dedication basically to my nan, who basically taught me the fundamentals of what I would like, the watercolours and stuff, and just said, look, with practice you will get better.
I can see how.
You know, focus on bits and pieces.
Oh, are they geese?
I was trying to do in this specific one. There was a marshland.
Yeah.
And I think I went to Norfolk actually.
Yeah.
When I was younger, and we looked over the Norfolk Broads.
Yeah.
And I saw the geese or the birds coming in, and they used to land on the lake.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want, you know. So I got home and I started doing different things. The last picture in there is actually when I went for a day out trip. We went to Dover.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely say that's near the sea and everything else.
Yeah, I was trying to get the White Cliffs.
Yeah.
But we actually we couldn't get up there because it was very muddy and very dangerous. It had been heavily raining. So
seriously, why?
So yeah, it was literally just. So we had to go down the road a bit, and it kind of like juts in and juts back out. Where an estuary is.
Like myself, you did this off your own back.
Yep. Yep. This is self-published, self-edited.
Hold it up like this. There you go.
Self-published,
self-edited. You created each board like I did. Writing style was all your own.
Yep.
Yep.
And it was just it was a dip. It was a dip into. Well, for myself, it was a dip into the unknown.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, how would I create a book? How would I lay it all out?
Yeah.
You know, how would
I did say it was a fucking difficult process.
It is a difficult process.
I did say that.
This actually took me, I would say, 2 months.
Okay.
I already had the pictures.
Yeah.
I already had what I was doing at that time because you know I know what I'm trying to achieve. And all of these pictures in here are pictures that I've put into a portfolio.
Yeah.
And in a previous podcast,
well, I'd say it's
we talked about like in the first pilot one, we talked about that I went to a gallery, not a museum, a gallery.
It's really impressive that you managed to off your own back. It's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard off your own back.
It is
very hard.
It's very hard. Like I think I proofed it like 5 times.
Yep.
And then just before I clicked save, I found one spelling mistake like right in front of the book, and I'm like, oh my god, this is difficult. But
it is very hard.
But no, it was, as I said, for me, it was dipping that toe in. It was getting that first book. Like I think the main thing, the main title was obviously Watercolours, My Story.
Yeah. That
took me about a week to try and come up with something like that.
It is.
And I was just like, well, what do I say? Like, how do I start it? Like, you know, do I go straight into a picture? Do I go straight into a thing? Do I have an index? Do I have, right at the back, you know, do I put myself into it, like a picture of myself?
Yeah. It's a tricky process.
So it's literally like the first few sentences is, I hope this book inspires some of those old and young alike to pick up a paintbrush or a pencil and start to create some of your own special works of art.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately art is a general,
like I said, dying form. Yeah, it's a dying form.
As too many people believe that art is personal and or is not good enough. But sometimes you can share your artwork that other people might find exciting and fascinating. All you have to do is try.
Yeah.
Like it's just something that like I believe should be done.
Yeah.
You know, when we talked about it in our pilot episode.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I wanted to achieve, you know, and I dare say this is the best thing that I've done.
Yeah.
Like
it does.
In a highlight, it made 2020 for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
I've done it.
Yeah. I'm technically now a published author.
Yeah.
Like self-published, but
it's published. It's published. But it is worth picking up.
Oh yeah. It's not a, as I said, I will iterate, it is not a how to do.
No.
It is not a step-by-step guide.
No.
this is me showing you what my creation process, I suppose.
Yeah.
Of how I would start off, you know, with a standard picture that you can recreate over and over again.
Yeah.
Which took me most of my childhood to figure out, because you know you want to put lollipop trees in, you want to put people as like stick men, but
yeah, you when I used to draw and stuff, it was put stick men in, or just try and put like some form of a person in it, and it never really looked
you can, like, not being funny, but if you just flick over that, you know, you see the two colours, you see the shadows, you think they're people.
Yeah.
But they're not.
I've got to admit, it is actually really good.
Like,
and I'm really surprised, because I feel that your artwork, when you upload it onto your Instagram and stuff, doesn't portray it like this.
No, it doesn't.
This is showing it as it is.
It doesn't, yeah.
Or it could be that, or you're just a poor photographer. When you take a picture of it, you're like, oh, I'll take a picture.
Well, to be fair, like, when I did start up my Instagram page, it was, you know, I had a phone that didn't really have that much of a great camera. When I first started uploading, I didn't really know about like a light box.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know how to make a light box. You know, you cut out one side of a cardboard box on the top, cover it with foil, put a little tea light in there. You've got yourself a light box.
Yeah.
But back then, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just
take a picture.
just make sure it's
basically this really does actually show your work in the purest form. And
there is no,
you know, I feel that people should actually, if they're interested in it, literally just purchase it, because it's hard from someone like yourself, coming from no real photography experience,
to them
sharing your artwork on a photography platform, and it's not portrayed well enough. Whereas this book fully portrays how good you actually are.
The watercolour book is in full colour.
Yeah.
It's not in black and white. I learned from when I first started doing Instagram.
Yeah.
Put it all in black and white. It covers up your mistakes.
Yep. Yep. That's pretty much what I do. Yeah.
But it was black and white, but it was more white and black.
Yeah.
There was the lines that were there, you can see, but you know, in colour within this book, it's a gloss. It's a matte effect inside.
It's made it really pop.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what really sets the book off, to be honest. So
but
yeah, well, he will leave a description, or I will, below, so you can purchase it.
And
obviously,
a link.
Yeah.
And things. And
I mean, obviously, different states, different prices. It is, I think, it's made on demand.
Yeah.
Basically, so it will arrive. It's just they have to make it, and then it'll be sent to you. Yeah. But yeah. So hopefully, you actually get some sales on it. Hopefully. As you're really impressed by it, and I feel that it should actually be, highlighted. To be honest.
And it's actually given me the bug.
Yeah.
To create another one. But this one will be a story in orientated one, where my own watercolours will be the illustrations. Yeah. But obviously,
will the next one be a bit bigger?
It will be. It will be. So obviously, this is 20 pages. Yeah. The new book that I am in the processes of creating will be 60.
Okay.
It will be in the region between 20 and 10 pages. There's going to be 3 stories, short stories, within this book. Yeah. But all the artwork and illustrations will be my own.
That's fair enough. It's exciting.
It will be a 50-page to 60-page or more, depending on.
I did tell you though.
My creativity.
Self-publishing is difficult.
It is difficult.
It is
but
difficult.
I have got the bug.
It's good. It's good. I mean, when I was refused for publishing mine, I thought, no, fuck it, I'm going to publish mine. And I did mine in just under 6 months. But obviously mine's longer than 20 pages. No, mine's effort, mine's time.
No.
And as we figured out today, it's actually been out for 5 years. I'm not going to highlight it here, but
no, we'll definitely we'll go over it though.
You want to go over my book?
Like
Right now.
What I mean is we'll like obviously we'll put a link below where you can get your book from as well. And obviously I'm in processes of doing the second book.
Yeah.
And are you thinking about or are in processing of doing it? Or is it just a one book thing?
I wasn't. I've got pictures that need to be seen.
Okay.
And
so you've hummed and hawed over it for quite a while.
About 3 years.
About 3 years.
4 years.
So what is your decision?
The thing is, if it's done, it's done.
Okay.
If
so you're still on the edge.
I don't mind doing it, but I know it's not going to beat my first.
Okay.
And
I know my second book will definitely beat the first. But
but you haven't got such a large stepping stone to go over.
No.
Yours is 20 pages. I'd say probably about how many pieces of artwork are in there?
11.
11 pieces of artwork,
including the front and the back. Well, all one piece.
Yeah,
but it is 11. But that picture is also included in the book.
Yeah.
So it's 11.
Yeah. So you got 11. I can't beat mine. Now my first book had the first release had over 300 pages. I think it was like 301, and then I re-released it to 166 pages. And I was like, you can't narrow it down.
You can't. You already cut it in half.
Yeah.
You know, near enough.
Like,
you can't cut it down anymore.
Cutting down photography is hard. So I might release the second one. I might not.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll leave it as a we'll see.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. Thank you for that one.
For what? I didn't do anything.
No, for using the.
No, he's saying thank you.
No.
No. But no, seriously, we'll leave a link. My book and his book will be there at the bottom. My second edition of the first book will be linked. My first one won't be because it's just far too much money. But his one will be, and my one will be, and we'll link them in the bottom. So if you feel interested, I mean, like, I don't gain any royalties from mine. Do you gain anything from yours?
Not a lot.
Which could be still beneficial. So every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps, and as I've already said to you, every little bit of money that I do get from this will come back into the podcast stuff, so that we can
travel
in future go somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I was thinking if I did do my second book. I mean, I'm not really interested in the money, but if money does flood in from it, I'll put it towards this, and it'll pay for a hotel somewhere. Or something interesting, I don't know. Something interesting. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.